All right. Good evening. Welcome back to the Real Precious Network. We have the Men's Forum this evening where we're going to get into some conversation about some videos that be lurking on these internet streets. We're going to do some reviews. We're definitely going to get into the Carmelo Anthony case. We know that that is circulating right now. And while it was not a public trial. They didn't have any cameras or anything in the courtroom. There, of course, there's so much talk around that subject right now. So we're going to definitely get into that. But if you are here, definitely hit the like button, share, subscribe. I need to send it out. I usually send it out on Instagram and all that good stuff. But I did not do that today. So if y'all would do me a favor and share it, I would greatly appreciate that. My co-hosts, y'all that are viewing in Watchland out there, hit that like button, subscribe, and share. Let the algorithm know that we moving and shaking and grooving over here. Before I get to the co-hosts who are watching, how are my gentlemen doing on stage, Mr. R. Payne and Mr. 3 a.m.? How you guys doing this evening?
Doing good.
Good. Yeah, I'm doing fine too. How are you?
Tied. Okay.
That's good. That's good. That's a good thing.
If you want to know, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't gonna front. Okay, I'll be honest.
Yeah, everything's cool. No arguments.
I've been getting some good feedback from last night's show.
Ooh,
from the people that follow me. They really enjoyed it. I don't know about from your side.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we had a trauma-informed adoptee coach last night, Julie, who came on our platform and dropped so many gems, educated, gave us so many of her techniques and practices that she uses with her clients. And I think everyone benefited from last night. I know I did. It was very informative. I was very much a student yesterday, even though I am an adoptee and I live this experience just like everyone else who's an adoptee. We all can learn from one another. So if you guys have the opportunity, have some time cleaning, doing something where you could just turn it on. It was literally, I think we stayed at an hour last night.
Mm-hmm.
Turn it on just to listen to what she has to say. Share it with someone who may be an adoptee. Arpain, I have started watching Game of Thrones. You talked about that. And I'm only on episode 4, okay?
The original Game of Thrones?
The original.
Wow.
I just started watching it. I did get past episode 1 because that's what happened years ago. I couldn't get past some first couple episodes. I'm like, then when they push old boy out that thing, it all starts there. And so I'm getting into it.
Oh,
so
you're in for a treat, man.
yeah.
So
I'm excited now that I've gotten past the stale phase of the show. I'm excited. Like I said, I'm only on episode 4, so I'm not going to turn it on tonight because I know it'll be watching me. Okay.
Yeah.
So tomorrow is the new day. We'll start again tomorrow.
I think there was 8 seasons anyway.
Yes.
The last season everybody argues about, but there was some great stuff in there. Just some great character arcs, so you'll enjoy it. There really are some great characters.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that. But yes, last night was good. Definitely share that with those who may be able to benefit from it. And then next week we have a great show too. We have a panel next week of adoptees, adopted parents, a lot of adoptees who want to be on the panel. So I am definitely looking forward to that. I have my work cut out for me because we are going to have different people on the panel. So I'm going to see how I'm going to lead and facilitate that panel, but we're going to get through it. Okay.
I popped in a little bit for a little while last night. I'm glad it's grown. There's this political commentator that I watch a lot. He talks about being adopted all the time. He's got like 1 million plus subscribers.
Really?
He's a young man, just had a new baby and stuff. And he's a real Christian dude. I don't know him, but he talks about being adopted a lot.
On YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll slide you his link one day.
Yeah, let me know. Because a lot of people, it's good that he talks about it. A lot of people don't really talk about it. They don't share that fact about their life because they feel as though they will be put in the other category, right? You're adopted, like, oh, you're different. And our lives were different, but we're human just like everybody else, bleed red, all that good stuff. So it's good to have those conversations so you can kind of see into somebody else's world a bit more and understand why they are the way that they are. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I see you here in the comments. Champ Talk Reaction says, hit the like button on the way in, please, and thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We're back at it with another one. Yes, we are. Hit that like button. The Middle League has spoken. Okay, hit the like button. He got a wrench. He can tell y'all what to do. Hit the like button. Justice for Karmelo. We will be getting into that a little bit later in the show. We definitely will be getting into that. Hey, sis. We got 3 a.m. in the comments saying, good evening, all. Welcome in. Let's smash that like button. Hey, kings and queen. Hello to you. Y'all look so great. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. I like a great series. Yeah, definitely join us next week and check out, the adoptee community and what everyone else has to say. 3 a.m. and I be on a panel yapping our gums. But when you hear other people and their stories and their journeys, you'll kind of hear the same thing, but you'll also hear a lot of different things. So that's another reason why I'm looking forward to next week, because we're going to hear people's stories that we don't know, that we've never encountered, and they're just willing to be on the platform. So I'm thankful for that. All right. So we're going to get into it tonight. Tonight we got a few videos. Bear with us. I don't want to be on here long because
I only laugh.
we will see. We will see. We shall see. But I do want to start off the show. Now, do you guys remember, those who are watching and you guys on the panel as well? We showed a video of a Pop the Balloon couple. And we kind of, big up this guy because he showed masculine traits, right? He showed that he could take the lead. He showed that he could kind of bypass this indecisiveness that this woman had on the show. I'll play it again for those who missed it. But there is an update on these two.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
There is.
I think I remember what you. I
They
think I
did their
remember the
own
video.
update. They didn't do it through the show. Usually, you see these couples and the host of the Pop the Balloon show, her and her husband, may sit down with them and do an update. But I was scrolling, and because we played this video, I'm sure that's probably why it was in my algorithm. And I was like, "Ooh, this is the couple that we showed on the show." So I'm gonna play this, and then we're gonna get into their video. Their video is kind of long, so we're not gonna go through the whole thing. However, you'll pick up on the vibe as soon as I start playing.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
Why did you pop?
I mean, you're a great guy. There's no reason.
What? You popped a balloon and you don't know why?
You're an indecisive woman.
Oh shit, hold on. What you got going on?
I could tell, are you?
Yeah.
I like that. You gotta have patience for an indecisive woman.
Ooh. Hey, I see you, huh?
I mean,
Don't look at me with them.
but I'm saying that was you hurt in the past? That's why you're indecisive?
Yeah.
I could tell. You don't want your balloon back?
Damn.
You don't want your balloon
I
back?
do. I want my balloon back. Yeah.
Can I have a balloon, please? She can't pop her balloon.
Okay, is this a match?
Yes.
Yes.
Get your girl.
Yes.
That was a master class, huh? These young niggas be talking about applying pressure, but you showed them how to apply pressure, but with finesse. Woo-hoo. Hey, you got it.
Funny.
So I realized why there wasn't a formal update that like we're used to seeing, because that wasn't the original Pop the Balloon show. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's not all that. Right.
Like a spin-off, somebody else.
Right.
Somebody else.
Yeah.
So, in that video, we had concluded, he saw a woman, he saw what he wanted. She didn't say no. She just said, I don't know why she popped, she didn't know why she popped her balloon. And he pretty much said, hey, look, you got to have a little patience with an indecisive woman,
It's true.
They came live and they had their own video. And so in those pop the balloon moments, you really only get to see a probably minutes, of what their interaction is. And it's not until the follow-up video where you can kind of really see how they interact with each other without all the cameras, without other people in the background holding balloons, thinking that they're going to be the one, without a host. And so I picked up a little bit of a different vibe when I saw the live that they did. So let me put this on the stage.
Don't let the narrative of that show, because a lot of stuff was edited. Don't let the narrative of that show think something's going on that it's not. And I will say this: I met a dope person, a friend. You know what I mean? You're a good person, because in those times of which way do we go left, which way do we go right with this with all this notoriety and all this stuff? How do we do it? We even got into little cat fights a little bit. Like, no, I thought you were gonna do this now. We gotta do this. This is what to keep a narrative that you know what I mean. It gave me too much anxiety.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It did. Yeah, for sure. For
Hey,
sure.
where's what? Like,
So you see them, interacting here, but then you'll see her kind of talk off to the side, and how I don't know if he has nervous energy or he's just trying to fill the space, but the vibe is a little different here.
Yeah.
that's why I knew it. Like, that's why we have to.
Lonnie.
And we had to only make it right and do it live. We had to only make it right and do it live. Share with everyone that, man, because people like, man, where they at in Hawaii? Hawaii.
No.
She said, "Where they at, Hawaii?" No. Look at her face. No.
I have a feeling. I know, and I don't know whether she's going to start speaking, but I think I saw this. I didn't put two and two together.
Well, there's the two.
But
I mean, he don't seem as confident.
Go ahead, 3 a.m. Go ahead.
Like,
I'll come after you finish that.
Go ahead.
In my opinion, he's cosplaying for the TV. Like, he was trying to call her out, on her attitude, the way she was, which, I mean, he has his own right to do that. But like, now when he's talking to her, it's like he don't have that confidence like he did when he was on the camera.
Right.
Like, if you see how he's looking up, he's looking left, he's keep blinking his eyes, you could tell when people have those issues. And she not even saying nothing. Like, she's just like, oh, she playing with her hair, like,
yeah.
Yeah,
The alarm going off.
What's going on?
Let
But yes, so
me go.
My bad.
You go. I do. Listen, the brother on the show, he actually wrote a check his ass couldn't cash. That's what that was. That bravado and all that shit. And the reason the look on her face is because he sold her. And he couldn't follow through on all the shit he told her. So what we don't know is the things that transpired after the show. Right. And so I recognize about it. He sometimes it's kind of funny because when I met my wife, right, I said some shit to her to meet her that I've never said to a woman before. I thought I was on the top of the mountain when I talked to her, because my introduction was, I think it was legendary, except there was a check I wanted to cash.
Okay.
And I know that. So that's why I can recognize this. It's funny because me and the wife married for a long time. One day I started fooling around with her. And she looked at me and she was ready to get busy. And I was just fooling around. I said, oh man, I gotta roll to check my ass cash right now. I was saying, so I can recognize that shit. So he wrote a check his ass couldn't cash.
But you can recognize it before this follow-up or after this follow-up video, because in the initial video, it seemed like he was very confident.
That's right.
It seemed like he had it all under control.
He's writing the check.
It seemed, you know, so these are the impressions that women get, right? On the first impressions, because you don't really have another time to make a first impression, right?
I agree.
So this is the impression that she got. She was already guarded going in. She had already opened her hand to him. I've been hurt, you know.
Yeah, all that stuff.
That whole story. Like, if a guy hurt me, child, I ain't telling nobody. Okay, I'm taking it to the grave.
When she was ready to kind of jump in to see if he was serious about all that shit, man. Afterwards,
yep,
I think she was going to open up to him if he had any inkling of what he touched in her. They probably would have had a pretty decent relationship. Other than just for the moment he said something and he probably didn't, know what he was doing.
Right.
Because she needed somebody to charge her up and tell her, listen, whatever your trauma was, I'll help you get past it. That's probably like music to a woman's ears. One, you recognize that she just had some baggage and you were willing to stay with her to get through it. She probably
the only person that can help you through trauma is someone who is professionally.
No, not. I mean, not for him to solve it, but him to be with her while she goes through.
Are men willing to do that?
Huh?
Are men willing to do that? Go through.
Of course, absolutely, of course. Because every woman over 30 who gets married, a man is willing to do that shit. Yes.
Are you willing to do it, or you just know that that's part of the program?
No. You listen. I would tell a man, if you ain't willing to do that, don't get married. So I mean, I think
everybody's got trauma. Like,
well, yeah, but there's no trauma like a woman's trauma. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? You know, but okay, you can say.
You said ain't no trauma like a woman's trauma.
No, absolutely not.
Are you joking?
No. I mean, I'm just talking that from a male perspective. We could certainly debate that. But anyway, all I'm just trying to say for this particular thing, his original thing when we saw him, I was saying he was a guy who said, okay, he was saying stuff. He reached her. She got a balloon back. And then all the stuff that happened after we don't see off screen with this little thing he's showing us showed that he wasn't willing to live up to the billing. I haven't even heard her speak yet. But I could just look at her.
That's what I was saying. Like, she just playing with her hair, ordering a cheeseburger. Like,
that's right.
Like, what are we doing?
Does she speak on this at all? Does she actually get to speak at some point?
At some point.
With Nicole? No, why? That's why I didn't want to tag you and stuff, because I didn't want to distract your personal.
Right.
I didn't want to traffic and stuff in your personal life, because dudes be thirsty, and even if for a second a dude think that you have a man or anything, men don't care about that nowadays.
Kissable lips.
Mm-hmm.
So that men don't care about that.
Right.
Men don't care about, like, sometimes if a woman can say, I got a man, it'll make a man want you even more, because the competitive nature.
Mm-hmm.
So those are people you got to be worried about, like real talk, real rival in the streets. And I understand why you've been single for. How long you been single for?
A while.
Okay, you'll have
a while. To me, I feel like it's definitely been a while because of, just the last situation I was in. So I'm gonna say, since March, to be real with you. So, yeah.
March.
Someone said in the comments, I don't know who it was, what did I do or what I didn't do? I didn't do anything.
No, nothing at all. An amazing man. You didn't do anything.
Just, hey, after that show, I checked on her, like, hey, you good? Because I know it was too much anxiety. It was just too much anxiety. And then someone in your family passed away.
Right.
It was too much anxiety. And I said, hey, man, I'm going to check on guys said, check on her and pray for her. Mm-hmm. There's too much anxiety that's coming in your life. And then you was like career change. And it was just, you know what I mean? And I think that's the best thing for you to do, is to focus on the journey that you on right now. Because these men out here, and if you listen, you know who I'm talking about. You listen, you're dipping. You can't dip in the oil over here, and then go over here and dip in the Kool-Aid, and you know what the Kool. You ain't tell. See, y'all making it hard for men out there that's single in the world. You're making it hard for men that's you'll be looking for people that want to be happy and be, because these women, man, you know how many women be saying, hey, after this man, I ain't messing with men no more. I heard this girl say that. I said, you 24 years old. You got your whole life ahead of you. If you done with men already, because men making it hard for a lot of people. Even women making it hard for a lot of men. You got.
So again, he talks a lot. Okay, I want to get to.
That's an understatement.
No, but I haven't.
Before we move forward, right? Someone said she just isn't interested from the looks of it. And that's what I got. Hey, that's my sister. That's what I got from it as well. When I was watching, I'm like,
because she's not engaging in the conversation. She is not interjecting. You know, she doesn't look like she's enjoying herself. She's look like she's just pacifying him. You know, just so there won't be any conflict.
right, but to me it looked like that.
Why did you pop?
I mean, you're a great guy. There's no reason.
What?
There's no
like
reason.
even in that video, to me, she was appearing the same way. She just wasn't seated in a car. I think when a woman likes a man, he knows. Just like when a man likes a woman, she knows. So, you know, this video, while it appears that she's not interested, in my head, it's like, I knew that already, because she didn't appear interested in him at the Pop the Balloon in that event. So
why does she take her balloon back though, Precious?
I believe that women sometimes have a problem with saying no and letting a no be their no when it comes
to a man.
Yes. I think that
she might have been
who don't stand on their no. Like, she should have kept that balloon pop. He should have went to them other 3 women that had their balloon and went after a woman who was just as I wouldn't say he was excited to be with her, but he thought that he could fix her. He thought that he would be the one, just like women be thinking, oh, he ain't had a piece of me yet. I don't know who he been dealing with.
I have a follow-up question for you though. Do you think that the majority of women don't know how to say no to men? What's the percentage? 50-50? 70-30? I think women have no issue.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, I'm just saying, in your estimation, we don't have to have a big debate over. What do you think is hard for women to say no to men?
You know what? Let me rephrase that. It's not that they can't say no to men, right? It's that they know in their minds how they categorize a man or what they think about a man, and instead of going with those thoughts and having that come out of their mouths, they will do a nervous laugh, or they will be like, oh, okay. They won't go with the that thought of, yes, I just don't like him.
Yeah, okay, let's stay with that though.
So, or it's more so that, so not necessarily can't say no to a man, but can't stand on how they
can't close the door the way you're saying. But let me put it to you this way: the fact that they don't close the door in that circumstance with just these 2 couples, meaning that maybe she was second guessing her no, and which is okay, right? And she says, okay, I popped my balloon. Now that he's talking to me, maybe I'll take a second look at it. I don't know if there's anything really wrong with that, whether it's a woman or not, because I agree with you. If a woman likes you right out, then she wouldn't have popped the balloon.
Yeah, because I was going to say,
there's a lot of relationships both sides, where the initial inclination was that maybe we wouldn't pursue this, but when people did, and they gave each other a little bit more grace and time, they found out that they would have missed on something good. That happens too.
True.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, maybe she thought that, because he challenged her a little bit, with her decision, maybe she thought that there was more there.
More to him than
Yeah,
yeah. And he
maybe
proved that her initial thought was right. He was not there, you know.
because I mean, it was like he was like in that second video, he was just talking and talking and like
Yeah.
I said, she playing with her hair, she ordering Burger King or whatever she ordering. She not being attentive to the conversation, and that is the whole problem. And
He's
that
closed.
means yeah,
He's
and
locked
she don't
out.
like him.
He is
And
definitely locked out.
and if y'all were listening to what he was saying, because it's easy to tune him out because he is talking a lot, but I listened to what he said, and it seemed like she had a lot going on around that time in her life too. Someone had just passed away. She is a career woman. She was traveling a lot. And so, women have to be honest with themselves too. It's like, are you going to make room for a man in your life too? It's like, you can't just go on a dating show and, she's a pretty woman. It looks like she, has it together in her life. So if you're going to go on a show like this, if you're going to pop your balloon, I'm not saying that you have to get married to the guy, but if it seemed like he showed a lot more interest in her than she did in him. And a woman gotta like you. Like, in order for there to be some action of any kind, she has to
Well,
like you.
there's no argument. That's true. There's no argument there. I mean,
Yeah, she has to show that has to be you. It has to be apparent. They always say, you can tell how happy the
well,
woman is.
she was willing to give him a chance, and he blew it. No, and the fact that she was busy, I hear women talk about that. Listen, when you get older in life and you're still in those formative years, everybody's busy.
Mhm.
And that's what you're coming in, that you got to like the person to make that kind of time, whatever that time is.
Yeah, because if you like them, there is no busy.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm
people
not busy.
look. I'm gonna tell you, people make time
For what
for
they
who
want
they
to
want to be with,
Right.
no
and
doubt
it
about
don't matter. Like it don't matter how many businesses you got or how many jobs you got. If they like you, they're gonna make the time to say, "Hey, I can't talk right now, but let me get back with
That's
you," or
right.
something like that. To have the decency to say that. At least.
Yeah.
Yep. Hey, what's going on, Melanie? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so I could see, listen, they said between they got back on here in this little live they're doing, he blew it, and it's written all over her face. If she
Great.
gave him a chance, he blew it.
Nice.
That was just like remember. I don't know.
A
I don't
word.
know if you ever watched Meet to Marry on YouTube.
Yes, I know that
Yes.
man. Yeah,
So you remember the girl Kendra from this season?
no, I didn't watch this.
So
Uh,
so
that.
what happened was they were going on their first date, and she literally was 2 hours late for the date,
Oh, Jesus
and
Christ!
he waited.
Oh,
Bless his heart.
And I'm gonna tell you, after 15 minutes, I'm done. Like you
You
ain't.
sound like King. King would say the same thing.
No, I look. My time is valuable too. Like okay, you're at work, but then like she wasn't communicating that with him, and like he was just sitting there like, oh, I'm happy she's here. Like, no, you look like a retard waiting for her for 2 hours. That's
what did he say anything when she got there?
That man was
not really. Like he was just like he was. I think one, he was surprised that she actually picked him, to go out on a date with. I don't think he had really been with that caliber of woman before. Even though he has the height that most women want. He
I,
was like
I,
6'7".
I gotta go back and watch that one then because
Yeah.
what were you caliber of woman?
Yeah, I was
Well,
going to say, what's the calibers?
well, I mean, he thought that she was very pretty, and he was telling his sister, he was talking to his sister about her, And just the way that he was talking about her, he felt like she was a really good woman. But like when he really started dealing with her, that kind of went out the way.
But she didn't
So
respect
what did he feel like after he started dealing with her?
Man,
Was it just
listen,
all looks? Was
the way her attitude, the way she was acting, and she talked about this security thing at like in the reunion, but like she was not explaining what that meant. She was like, "Oh, I don't really want to talk about it right now." So I think she was recently divorced, and I think she still has some past trauma from her divorce.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
more trauma?
Yeah, well, let me just say, put it this way: if I think she lost respect for me, this fool's still waiting for me after 2 hours.
Yeah.
I mean,
15. You got 15 minutes. Let me tell you, 15.
if I was still there after 2 hours, it would have been only to tell her ass off.
2 hours.
And I would have been maybe 3 martinis deep by then. So no, listen, I think there had a bit of modicum of respect because he was still sitting there. The fact that she showed up is something, and maybe that was for her own purposes because she might have wanted to stay on the show, and that kind of stuff, So, but still, man, I don't know, but
that's a long time to be.
Yeah, that's a long time, man. God,
No. Let you one time over by my job one time.
So you met her one time, okay? They had the pop the balloon, and now he's saying when they met up.
We was talking about now. Where do we go from? How did we? You know what I mean? I ain't know it was going to be like this. I woke up and you send me a link. Another person talking. It was like he was like $3 million like that. Then another person. And I was like, oh heck. And I saw comments on my way in, your way could be damaging, especially when you gotta keep it low for it.
I'm gonna answer her question. I'm not gonna say I'm not healed. I'm just gonna say I'm still going through that healing process. And with my grandmother.
She won't say that she's not healed, but then she says she's going through the healing process, which to me sounds like, a healing process is, is anyone ever really fully healed? I don't think we walk around saying that we're broken, but at the same time, be honest about what it is. You know what I mean? If you are going through that healing process, be honest and say, I really can't make room for anything else in my life because I'm focusing on other things in my life.
Oh, was she talking about healing from like a relationship, or because I know that he had mentioned that someone had passed in her family. So was
she's
she
getting
talking
ready to talk about that. My grandmother just passed. Even then, even still, listen, man. You know what? The one thing I could relate, and anybody at his age, you could relate to somebody about their grandparents passing. Mm-hmm. Who doesn't that happen to?
Right.
So I'm just saying, even with that, I said, well, you know what? Anything I can get you, whatever. What's the funeral? Blah blah blah. How close you were. That's a whole conversation piece.
And this is 9 minutes. We're not going to listen to the whole thing, but I think he did do that. She calls him a wonderful man. He was there. She says he was there for her in her time.
She just don't like him. That's what you're going to tell him.
She
just don't like him.
How many times did we gotta say it? How many times did we gotta say it? She doesn't like the man.
Exactly. You can see it in her eyes too.
Like him. All right. You don't like the man. He could have probably bought her a mansion, and she's still. I'm still going through the healing process.
I think, changing careers and finishing up my master's degree kind of put a hold on some stuff. So that's the answer. I am talking. So I guess you were talking too much, Eric.
couldn't
You
talk
do.
about the kid because I get popped in the mouth.
Oh,
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
you
I think
came
we
from
had
the
enough.
suburbs. You
We
was,
had
I
enough.
don't know where you was. I was,
It's hard to
yeah,
watch.
I was
Yeah,
from
you had enough.
the hood when my mom popped
You know one thing, Precious,
to get
that
that
I'm sorry
experience.
talking over this because I think we had enough. When I hear women talking about all this other shit, we come to the conclusion she don't like them.
She don't
But
like
every woman in her position, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm not gonna, but she's got a maintenance man. She already has a maintenance man. You know, if she ain't gonna make a new relationship with this guy that goes forward, she's already got the guy who could come in and get the cobwebs out, and so she can do all that PhD and all that shit. You know, most women have a maintenance fucking man. It's just as true as I know if I was a fly on the wall in every woman's who's been sexually active back room. It's just true.
Not the back
It's
room.
that one guy she trusts, no matter what he's doing. You call him, hey, Joe, you know, listen, man, I got an itch that I need to have scratched. I trust you. Just come home, take care of it, and get the hell out of my house when you're finished. I might give you a hamburger. I don't know. But, so all I'm just trying to say, there's no way she don't have a maintenance man. And I could dig that.
Mhm.
You know, a lot of women do. A lot of women do.
Yeah, she
You know,
just don't look like she
yelling
want to
at
be
you
bothered
Well, but be bothered with what?
with
I
him.
mean, with him, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying, a lot of those kind of women, if you have go for a PhD, your grandmother just died, you got a new job, you're moving. Listen, you get pent up shit, and at some point you're gonna want to. If you were sexually active before, at some point you want somebody to relieve all that pressure. So she's calling up Tyrone.
You better call Tyrone.
You know, and he's going to come through, no matter what he's doing, he's going to come through. He's low cost or no cost at all, maybe a meal, maybe a soda or a beer, whatever the hell it is. It's just, I don't know, man. I've lived long enough to know that that's just true.
In the meantime, in between time. Okay.
And for women, that's a lot cheaper than men, by the way, to do. You're halfway pretty. She don't have to pay a gun.
Y'all, take out on dates, spend money, do this, do that, just for a quick old lay. Y'all just be doing the most.
Yeah, somebody said facts. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's as simple as that. And listen, I ain't hating on no women for that. I don't hate on women for that. It's just a fact. I think some men just don't understand. I saw a show. I'm gonna be real quick, where the lady was on cruising on all cylinders as a great catch. Great catch. Young, no kids, vibing, talking about the kind of man she wants, everything. And she wants to be married. She wants to do this. Everybody in the chat is saying, holy shit, I want to call in, right? It's one of Kendra G's best shows because this woman wasn't ratchet at all.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like 20, 26, 27. And so Kendra always asks the question, when's the last time you had a relation? You don't have to answer. And she said, well, just 2 months ago. And immediately all the men started saying, oh man, shit. Because she was building up on how she would be valuable as a wife and all that kind of stuff. But the fact is that she has this maintenance man. That means that now the guys, instead of trying to marry her, they're trying to be, maybe I could take the maintenance man's place. I don't have to put in all that effort because I know the maintenance man ain't paying no money. He's only got to do shit for this woman. And so all I need to do is see if I could replace him and be her maintenance man. Why marry her? We know she's having sex with no consequence. So, so women got to be careful when they say shit like that because men automatically say, hey, I don't have to be married to get the box. Then maybe I could be the new maintenance man. I mean, there's some benefits to being a maintenance man. There's some benefits.
I guess. I'm just
trying to tell you, all you ladies out there.
I don't know about that.
Just be careful what you say.
Designate these maintenance men, as you call them. Even any man can't just be, the maintenance man. So
you got to be selective.
Try to think that, I'll be the next maintenance man, or I don't have to marry her.
Every man can't be the husband either. But if I got to go for one of the two, if I know she likes maintenance men, so here I am trying to marry her, and I'm courting her, and I'm doing all this stuff, and she's got the guy that she could call to come over and take the itch off. So why am I putting all that effort in?
Well, that's just like women who know that when they're talking, when they go to talk to a man, there's probably another woman somewhere around. Because
but women aren't men. Women aren't men. Men are not women. We don't look at it the same. I know we try to, but we don't look at it the same.
Right,
because
but
most men are the ones most of the men are putting out his resources and everything to get to know the woman. Women ain't putting out those kind of resources for no man.
I understand what you're saying. But at the end of the day, there's, unless someone is living
in a bubble. Oh, you're right about the fact that he might have somebody he's got to leave just like she does.
Yeah,
you're right about that. I agree with that.
Think that, people are just green and, there's no life going on.
No, but you're right. I mean, we don't have to segue into that, but you're absolutely right. It's just the way you look at it a little bit differently. Maybe it's a double standard, or it's a different.
Yeah, like y'all look at it. Sometimes I think men worry about other men in this woman's life as if he put a ring on a finger, or as if he asked her to marry him. It's like, why are you worried about?
We ain't worried about that. We're worried about that. We don't worry about other men from that fashion. We only care about the other men is if I have to pay more for you than he did.
Well, how you know how much he paying?
Listen, the fact is, I don't care. It just seems that if I can only measure what I'm putting out. If somebody else could come in and get the goodies, I don't know how he's doing it, but if he's getting the goodies, as far as I'm concerned, he might be getting it cheaper than me. And I want to compare notes. Do you got to take her to the movies? What you got to do? He's you know what? Every so often she gives me a call. And maybe you falling down on the job, brother. So all I'm just trying to say is it's not that we care about the other man. We're just wondering if we're paying more than he is for the goodies. Yeah, we put out the resources.
Pay a prostitute if you worried about the prices. I'm sure she got a price sheet.
She don't have to be a prostitute. Just in regular going out with a woman, a man carries the list, the lifting of the resources for having a girlfriend. It's not on a woman, right? I take you out. If I'm traditional, I'm paying for everything. There's sometimes women think their time is more valuable than man's time, and okay, we'll give you that. But my time might cost me $150 an hour. So I'm spending hours on you. If I look at my salary, and some other guy, he might be on Skid Row but he takes a shower every so often, and he's coming in. So he don't have to be on Skid Row, but you know what I'm saying. And so the point really is, it's not because you had another man. It's like whether he's paying, whether he's cheaper than I am.
All y'all cheap to marry her, right? Oh, y'all cheap until you actually make the investment. Y'all are cheap.
Anyway, what's going on, Coach? Try me. Listen, I hear you.
What's up, Coach?
That's conversation not going nowhere. So
I'm
just talking. What's up?
How y'all doing?
All right.
I got signed out of my Instagram, Precious, and didn't get the link, so that's
my fault, Coach Ferg. I didn't send you the link. I'm sorry. I gotta add you to the group too. I just added 3 a.m. today. Are you not in that group chat with us?
I don't know what happened. I don't know.
Oh, you were on that big one?
On there.
Were you on?
Yeah, I was on the bigger one. I was on one, but I don't know what happened. I just had to sign into my Instagram. I don't know what be going on.
It kicked you out? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we got another one.
As you can see, that man, that woman was never interested in him, and she should have never got a balloon back to be in a position where you're unalive and you on a live. I sound like I said unalive, right. Where you're on a live and you're just waiting to get off the live. It's just a bad look. It's just a bad look.
Well, you're right.
I wanted to show that update because when we played it the first time, I was like, she don't like him. Yeah. A woman can tell. A woman can tell when another.
You were right on that one.
is
Right.
smitten with the man.
A man can tell too.
Right, but he thought you remember the video of the guy, the OG, who told the woman she was indecisive and you got to be patient.
Yeah.
Like,
It turns out.
It turns out she didn't like him. She was going through a lot. He wanted to talk the entire live, and she just wanted to get off. And it just was so uncomfortable to watch. Like it was just a mess.
She was ordering food for her slow kids.
She was already talking to
and she was
the maintenance man.
And she was born in the crack era.
Well, there
she was making tell she was born in the crack era.
There you go. Then that's typical behavior. I mean, and I mean, you know, when I say it, I mean to be, you know, but you can sort of pinpoint the age groups to me. Some of the behaviors, it's just unfortunate, you know, but they don't have no shame in that game that they doing. They think it's all a game until it bites them in the butt. Then they play victim. They victim blame all the time. It's just unfortunate. It's the most outspoken generation ever towards their mamas and their daddies. I never seen it. I mean, especially when I was coming up, we sort of looked up to our parents. Regardless, most people I know, guys that had mothers, they respected moms. You know what I'm saying? And moms wasn't sending most guys in my age group down the wrong alley. If you acted up in school, they came to deal with you, not to cuss out your teacher.
That's true.
If you didn't do what they had you do, responsibilities, they dealt with you, and they didn't make excuses. And then, you know, a church friend could say, I saw a little slow Ferg down there the street throwing rocks. By the time I got home, I got slapped upside the head 3-4 times. Then I'm really shaking when I hit the steps because I know she's already been informed. Down there, it's just different. And it's unfortunate because y'all the most critical. We need y'all the most. And y'all a lot of 40, and this is President, I know you're an age, it's your peers. Y'all the most... I don't know. When it comes to the kids, man, y'all don't care about your kids, man. I don't. Y'all don't care because a lot of people don't put them in responsibility until it's too late. They don't hold that structure, and you're gonna, you know what I'm saying? There's certain things you have to do before you can do what you want to do.
It's like a rite of passage to do certain things.
Like, yes, you have to go through that as a boy for sure.
Yeah, like I know, like. Some of my friends' kids, like, they like 20 and still don't have a license. Like,
wow.
You know, as a boy, you know, that was one of the first things you wanted to do is get your license when you were 16.
Everything to show independence. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, learn how to cut the grass, learn how to change some brakes, you know, learn how to do the stuff that you need to do. I'm not saying that you're gonna grow up and be a mechanic, but if you had to do it, you can do it. You know,
you can work on your own car at some point, change a battery.
Exactly.
I just
so you say 20?
A woman changing a tire and a man just standing there. Horrible.
20 without a license? Where they live at? New York? I can see places like that, transportation, but
my mom didn't have a license for a very long time. She lived in Connecticut. She didn't have, I don't think she got a license until she married my dad.
I didn't get a license.
New Jersey, and I don't think that, you know, the public transportation was like it was where they were living at in Connecticut. So
I lived in New York City, so I asked my aunt, she was my guardian at the time, I want to get a driver's license. The way she yelled and screamed at me, said, "Call for what?" I mean, I thought I was asking for like $1 million, right? I just want my license. Man, she went crazy. I said, "What the hell you talking? What the hell you need a license for?" Chairs on the bus, blah blah blah.
Get on the bus.
I didn't get my driver's license until I graduated college.
Do you think that was a precursor for you to get a vehicle, and maybe that was why?
Well, no, it probably was, but I wasn't going to get no vehicle because I couldn't afford one. I just wanted to do it was just a rite of passage to get a license.
Because it's the ID too. I mean, it's your driver's license, but it's also your.
So when I was working, I was in Buffalo when I went to college, and I got laid off from my job, and I was just all I was doing was hanging out. I said, I got to do something productive with this year, right? I was getting money from the government for unemployment. It cost me less than a few $100s for rent. You know, maybe like $500 for rent or something. And I was getting like a $1.25, $1.50 from every week of unemployment for almost a year, man. My vocabulary was down to just F, U, C. You know, I was wasted away. You know, so elementary.
I thought you were just dumbing yourself down, sitting around like.
Do something. I said, let me learn how to drive. I said, I said, let me go ahead and sign myself up and do something productive. And I'm glad I did. So I learned how to drive.
Only do 4-letter words.
That's what I was doing. You know, so I finally got a job and sent me to Texas. Man, unbelievable. I was like, man, I was going feral.
That's good shit. But see, President, this is the difference, right? You see how our parents said he recognized his situation and then he thought of something to be better on his own. He didn't need mama, auntie, cook. He like, damn, I'm in a bad place. Let me do something. And that's what I'm saying. If people could take advantage of it, because we didn't have the information available to us like they've had it over the last 20-something years. I say 25 years. Last 20, give it 2000, since the 2000s, the opportunity wasn't afforded as much. We had looked forward to a summer job, 6-8 weeks, and a lot of people that didn't have two parents, that's how they made their living off of that, right? But they valued it. They just didn't go, you didn't see them buying stupid $300 shirts the first check. You know what I'm saying? You might take your $300 and you get you 2, 3, 4, 5 outfits. It all depended. But then as you got older, you sort of value. I just saw people, even I'm talking about some of the people in the worst conditions value their situation. They didn't look at it like, this is where I'm at forever. I got to get out of here. What do I need to do to get out of here? I can't keep begging mama for $100, $50. I can't keep sitting around waiting on a woman to do it, because Gen X women, they were like the man, like, I work for my money, you got to work for yours. Yeah. But it got to a place where now you see people like, well, the system, the man is holding me down. Dude, you ain't worked since ever. So how's the man holding you down?
Exactly.
So it starts somewhere, and I think a lot of it just comes from the lack of motivation given to young people from the day they leave the house.
Yeah, you said it too, though, Ferg, and we could just, sometimes you just gotta, I don't know where I got it from, you know, and most of us, I think, have those revelations from time to time. I gotta do something with nobody else telling you to do it, because you just feel like you're just spiraling, right?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, my life wasn't bad. I was a college education. I was an engineer, you know, blah, blah, blah. I got laid off from a chemical plant. And, you know, so I should be doing pretty good, right? So, and it's funny, it wasn't I was up there with the frat brothers. We were partying every night, man. I mean, it wasn't like I was just like stewing in the corner. It just wasn't productive.
Right.
You know, but I said, man, I got to do something to get my life kickstarted. You know, I mean, I got so many stories. I had to go home for 2 weeks, back to the Bronx. I had to go home for 2 weeks because my job in Texas didn't start for them. I cried almost every day because I felt like a failure because I had to go home. I thought when I was 18, I left my house. I said, okay, this is I never had to. So I had to go back home. I had to go sleep in that little twin freaking bed that was still in the corner of the house. And I said, oh man, it was completely irrational. It was because I had the plane tickets to go to bed.
What's your college bed? Aren't the college bed twins?
No, I didn't move it. I left so much stuff up there. You know, I had just one guy at a van. I put whatever I thought was valuable to me in that van. And he dropped me off down. And most of that was frat paraphernalia and a big 25,000 piece puzzle. A big 250,000 piece puzzle I had on a nice.
You left it in school?
Yeah.
You left it in school?
No, I bought that with me. Yeah, I kept that in my diploma and about it. I mean, I was hey man, those were the days. We'll bring back those kind of days. I paid the guy a few $100 bucks. Yeah, but
I want those days back too. Take the little $2 bus to New York from North Jersey.
There you go.
All right.
All right. So what's
about working, right? Mr. Robbins asks this guy, what are you scared of? Like what exactly are you scared of? And he says his wife, and this is the reason why. And I think that a lot of men may fall into this category. They may just not vocalize it like this guy did, and it took him a little bit, but I'm glad he got his words out.
My wife.
Did you say wife or life?
My wife.
My wife. He is afraid of his wife. Give him a hand for that. When it's true.
Look at his face. Like, y'all have no idea.
What are you afraid would happen with your wife?
Well, she holds me accountable. It's like a long story. You know what I mean?
Make it short. Just tell us the truth.
Right. But I don't really know if it's my wife. I know that if I'm unsuccessful, I'm getting ridiculed from that. From the financially, I'm putting the family in a financial bind. And then time-wise, I'm not spending as much time as I need to be spending because I'm putting all my energy in this that's not working out. But I know she's supportive of that at the same time. So at the end of the day, like, why am I doing what I'm doing?
So now you see the inner conflicts. The inner conflicts are, on the one hand, I want to be more successful, and my wife wants to be more successful, but on the other, it'll take more time, and I might not be there for time that she wants with me. Oh, that's a conflict. And what if I fail? What if I don't achieve it? Then I'll be ridiculed. And what if I do achieve it, and then I'll be ridiculed also?
What if I don't achieve it and I'll be ridiculed? But what if I do achieve it and I'll be ridiculed? Do you think most men have that duality of not feeling like they are going to succeed in being the leader of their home and also live in the same space that if they are successful or if they are working, if they are outside the house, they'll also be penalized for that? Don't all speak at once.
No, you gotta have a plan.
What's up, guys? Go ahead, 3 a.m. Go ahead.
You gotta have, like, you're not gonna be successful out of osmosis. Like, you gotta actually have a plan for your life. It don't matter if you're married or not. Like, if you gonna go to school, you're gonna say, okay, if I want to be an engineer, or if I want to, whatever the career field, you gotta have plans for after you graduate. You gotta have a plan on what you're gonna do. You can't just expect that a job is just gonna land and you're gonna land that $100,000, $200,000 job and you ain't put in no work. Like, it actually has to make sense, and you actually have to go in a career where you're actually gonna make some money and not just doing a liberal arts degree.
Okay, so a plan would eliminate those feelings.
I think I think it's the kind of woman you're with too. Like, I don't think if you're trying to succeed, they're going to ridicule you. I mean, that to me, that's a bad person who is not really there for you. Like, they don't want you to fail. And so I think they're going to try to they're going to try to help you in any way they can. If somebody's ridiculing you because you're succeeding, then that person is ungrateful.
Well, are they and I'm just asking questions here. Are they really ridiculing you because you're successful, or are they not realizing the time, the work, and the talent that it takes for you to actually be at that point in life and not realizing the reality of that? A lot of people who experience that are people who marry military, they're military spouses, right?
Mm-hmm.
The military men and women are away from their families for a very long time. can be for a very long time. And I don't think that that reality sinks in for the spouse that's home, because they just hear, okay, military housing will be paid for, this will be paid for, that'll be paid for. But when reality hits and the day to day norm sets in, that schedule sets in, a lot of those spouses are like, well, I know he has a job and I know that he's out working. I know that he's out providing for the family, but don't, I, I don't feel close to him. He's never here. Or when they come back, I just saw a video of a woman who said like she doesn't even have the desire. Now she has deeper issues as well, but her husband was away for a while for work, and she's like, I don't even have the desire to be intimate with him when he comes home, and that's scary. So there are, and not just military, I mean, you have doctors, you have nurse, like people who spend long amounts of time away from home. I don't think that the reality of what they're doing and their sacrifice, because it is a sacrifice not to be home. I mean, it is a sacrifice to be away from your family for extended periods of time because you're providing for them. But I don't think that the reality is perceived in that manner.
I think you got to be a strong person to be with somebody that's in the military or somebody that's like a doctor. Because my dad was in the military, and you know, when they adopted me, I think that's when he got out of the military because, my mom was like, just go get a factory job. And that's what he did, and then she stopped working. So I think it depends. Like that takes a lot of courage, a lot of strength. And like if you don't want to be intimate with your partner after they come back, like what?
Well, there's something else wrong.
But let's be clear about the military, right? People get a misunderstanding about the military. There's certain jobs that you will be gone for a period of time. Not most jobs are military are 9 to 5, off on weekends. 90% of them, right? When you get into your infantries and your artilleries, they go out on missions and, fake missions for 3-4 months out of the year. 10 days here, 8 days here. They do rapid redeployments. They hurry up and be gone. But most of them are home by 5:30 after the reveille. Typically on every base, they blow the horn. People go home, right? So I've seen cases where when they go to deployments, now this is where it gets tricky. And this is where I don't feel like I don't want to have her, because a lot of these times when these people know that their loved one is not able to catch them in what they do, the real them typically shows up. They go out and they're looking for 3 a.m. to just come through. They looking for that. These people look for that and they get caught up in it because they're not thinking about, I have a family. And just the fact, just to the video, I don't think she was in love with him. I don't think she was. I think she was there because of the convenience of him doing what he is ordained to do. Because she's putting pressure on him, knowing what it takes for him to be that person. It's like you're putting him against a rock in a hard place. Yeah, I need you to make me money, lead the family, but you gone all the time. Which one you want me to do? Because I'm sure she was working before. She knows what it takes to work. So I think a lot of people get lost and they use kids as an excuse, but we see the learning standards of children, regardless of they homeschooled or in school. Them suckers are slow. But again, it's just unfortunate that this man, who I assume he's committed to his marriage and trying to make everything work, he's still not getting the, sometimes what I see, guys need a pat on the back now. I tell my wife, my parents gave me enough pats on the back. I don't need you to pat me on the back. But I do like that she shows that she appreciates me.
Mm-hmm.
I like when she go in there and you want a cobbler, you want this, she asking me, I'm turning no, you know what I'm saying? Because she's trying to give me something that I could do for myself, but it takes a weight off of me. Knowing that I got something good to eat, knowing that I can say, hey, could you come here and rub my back and just, could you, if, you know what I'm saying? It's just a difference. And if you have to go through that as a man and you're trying to be out in the world, support your family, and when you come home, you ain't did enough or you ain't here enough, then that's a problem to me. I wouldn't recommend any man. If you're in a relationship, I would just leave the relationship. I wasn't that type of guy. I'd be like, you get a no call, no show from me, especially, but you have children. We want to, provide for our children. But when a woman's putting that type of pressure, I just don't believe that she's into you. She's so-called settle for you. She didn't love you coming in.
Do you think that men sometimes put that pressure on themselves, just knowing what it takes to be a leader of a household?
It ain't even so much knowing that what it takes to be a leader, but they're going to put pressure on themselves to make sure that their family's okay. He's going to do that because that's what I don't care what Bible you read, it's part of the Bible. It's part of our nature that we're going to want to protect. And of course, everybody equated to money, but also my protection is making sure if his roof start leaking, I'm going to climb up there. If I need to light the pilot light, but it's a lot of ways that you can protect your family, giving them instruction. Hey, don't be outside thinking you can, typically do what the big thing is out here. It can come back on you. Having those conversations in the right moments, being able to even sometime, my wife she used to thank me. I was like, hey, you thanking me for? Because you give me calm sometime when I'm in chaos. Because she asked me questions and I'm like, well, and she's like, well, you don't get upset. Well, because I don't bring my feelings to the world. I bring my understanding, my respect to the world. I respect, but my feelings, they for my wife. I need her and they for my parents. They for my children. They for people that I value the most. I'm going to go respect. And not saying my feelings are not valid because I own my feelings. But I don't look at myself as like I need people to validate me. If you want to show me you like me, just respect me. Y'all don't owe me nothing. Just respect me.
Listen, this whole thing about, I see what the guy's saying. If you really look at it, I think the way men are today is in direct proportion to the way men used to be in my day, back in the day. A man in the 60s married, where 75% of us were married to our wives. We didn't care about all of that stuff. We were just obligated to take care of our families. Back then, men had more testosterone. Men were more men. We didn't care. So today, when only 25% of people are kind of married and stuff, to what men are a whole lot weaker. These kind of things matter. These kind of things trouble men more. This leadership thing is just something we assumed. Yeah. We didn't have these conversations. It didn't give a god daggone whether a woman had a PhD or not. I did a show. I did a show on that. I just say, listen, that's not why we married you. You can have all the accolades you want. I won't be the guy who says that doesn't matter. I think men who say that are stupid. Yeah, never tell a person all their accomplishments doesn't matter.
Facts.
But you say, listen, all that shit is great, but that's not why I'm asking you to marry me.
Right.
That's not what I need from you. If you have it, I can look at it as gravy, But and I appreciate your accomplishments. That means I know that you can finish a task, right? All that kind of good stuff. But don't think that you can put a laundry list of shit out there that I'm gonna marry you for. Matter of fact, if I came to a woman who's successful and accomplished, I said, "Oh wow, man, you got that PhD, you got this house, and you got all this money. God, listen, you know what? I gotta marry you." You're gonna look at me like I'm a fool. So the truth of the matter is that's not why we marry the women we love. It's not. And that's why you'll see a man who has $1 million, if he gets enamored with a chick who's a checkout girl at the Q-tip, he's gonna marry her, which is a mistake, but he'll do it. So anyway, I'm just saying, so back on this guy, I can see his dilemma. I can see the way he's fumbling. He's fumbling with the words and all that kind of stuff. There are women who put that kind of pressure on their men, who say, "I want you to go make it because I want this kind of lifestyle," and then come back and some other side will say, "You're not spending enough time with the children." I just saw a video where a woman came on TikTok and says, "I can't stand to see my man relax.
Oh God!
If he's doing stuff, if he's busy and all that, I'm happy. But as soon as he sits down on the couch to relax, I get anxious. I want him to be doing stuff." So the fact is, I still blame that on the man. I said, "Listen, because you have to put these things in front of us. You want this kind of lifestyle, then I need to do this. If you want me to reduce the time I need to trade hours for dollars, this is what we're going to have to go without."
Mm-hmm.
And men don't say that. They sit down there and they look like this butt white in front of a whole group of people trying to fumble over his words. Listen, it's funny because I ain't that kind of tough guy. Well, I don't live this kind of drama. I talk to my wife, and you know what? And I don't bully my wife around. I have respect for her. She does the things she wants to do. She's like a free woman, right? So when I talk to her about certain stuff, I just say, "Listen, this is not coming from a position of malice. This is what I need you to do." Sometimes she doesn't like it. I say, "Okay, I know you don't like it, but we still need to do it." Yeah. Okay, give me a kiss, all right? Blah, blah, blah. Because and then we move on. And that's when you need something from me, don't be afraid to ask. "Well, I know what you're going to say." I said, "No, you don't."
It's like that guy. Remember the guy that was asleep in his car, and
Yeah.
the girl came out and said, "Why are you sleeping in the car?" And he basically told her, "Because I can't. It's not peaceful." And she she went around and tried to unlock the passenger side door.
Get in
And then they actually ended up getting a divorce, or
I saw some follow up to that.
Yeah.
I think they were also scamming the people too.
I thought they were content creators.
Yeah,
real life.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a skit or not, but I mean,
I think I saw them in the kitchen together or something, coming up with something. But the point is still, even what you just said, 3 a.m., that guy sitting in his car because his wife didn't give him peace, he's still an idiot. Because if your wife ain't giving you a peace in your own home and you don't go correct it, you should be in a car. I'm not going to spend my house paying a mortgage, and I'm afraid to go in there because I got some hyena in there telling me I'm not going to be at peace. There will be a reckoning, and men don't want to do the reckoning. And you don't have to be a tough guy. Don't get physical. Say I'm gonna hurt you. No,
yeah, you ain't got
you can't live like that, and too many men do. Too many men do. Oh, my wife this and this guy. This is a good video because absolutely the guy was afraid of his wife. Yeah. I don't even know how a man forms his lips to say I'm afraid of my wife.
He said it, and it's almost like he didn't know what to say, but I think the right things did come out. For him to say.
Wow.
Because you have to, sometimes you just don't know what words.
Coach for looking at the game.
Wow, that's great. No, man, they done came back and cut it to 10.
They getting ass.
They cut it to 10. They cut it to 10.
Yeah, it should have never been that bad.
Well, we'll see.
They over here watching the game. We missing out on the
game. I'm not watching. He is. So don't.
But yeah, I think that what he said needed to be said because I think that there are a lot of men who feel that way, and they're probably younger. they're probably not seasoned men, or even probably men who came from that era. Like our Payne said, like men were just men. Like you just knew that you had to work and take care of your family. So there was no complaining about it. There was no, how am I going to do this? You just did it. And I think the men of today, because they probably were raised single moms, maybe dad left, there could have been deaths in a family in which, life took their parental figures away from them early. But at the end of the day, men got to work. That's what y'all was cursed with, working. Okay, and we were too. We ain't skate free. Somebody that don't work don't eat. That's the motto I go against. Okay, if you ain't working, you ain't eating. Except for unless you're a child. All right, and even they gotta work. Okay, they just not working for wages. They're working for other things. But I wanted to play that to see, what you guys' reaction and what your perspective would be on that, because I think that a lot of men do go through that, and they do actually need someone to talk to about that, because if not, it turns into unaliving people and, not being able to deal with the emotions and the pressure that it takes to take care of a family, and now you taking them out. So I think that probably needs to be talked about a little bit more. I don't know, if is it still mental health month, or was that last month? Are we still in it?
We still in it, Precious. We in it for the rest of the year.
But don't, Precious, let's put this. I just want to say one thing. There's a long valley between a guy going from 0 to the 60 that you just mentioned.
Right.
Most men don't go nowhere near that, but it does happen.
Yeah.
Don't go nowhere near.
Well, to unaliven some woman because of his inability. I mean, there's a lot of room in between a man being like that guy and him going scorched earth to be like to do something bad to his wife. There's a lot of room. It doesn't even have to be
to his wife. It could be to himself. I think that it still comes out in ways that just are not processed in a healthy way.
You're not wrong, but there's a lot of daylight. There's a lot of traveling because most men don't do that.
Right. Most men don't.
And most men who live those lives of desperation don't do that.
Yeah.
They just go out into the sunset being desperate. And so, but I only have to just say that because, there's those guys who actually go off the deep end. But there's a lot of narrative that says that most men go off the deep end to where it's violence. I don't believe that that's true. It's just enough to make a difference. There's enough to make a difference. So I'll agree with that.
And that's always going to be highlighted. Anytime a man harms a woman in America, that's going to be the highlight of the year. It's always going to get highlighted.
But most men do. A lot of men do live a life of quiet desperation, and it's usually quiet. It's
very quiet. But that's what I'm saying. That's why I think that the conversation needs to come out more, because
I agree with you.
Men will suffer in silence, and then one day
it could get real bad.
Yeah,
but go ahead.
Really quick to this dynamic, what you just said, right? Having the conversations more. YouTube, in a sense, has brought that out of men, right?
It's helped with that.
But right now they on phase 1, and phase 1 is the woman. That's the phase.
What do you mean by
because men, men suffered in silence and didn't speak about the issues that they would have with women they were with women they were trying to be with. They didn't speak about it, and YouTube has brought that to the forefront now. But there has to be an elevation or evolution of men who they've experienced it in their real lives. They're vocalizing it now. Now the evolution of it is in the prime of your adult life. What are you going to do? Because now you know what the expectation is, not just from women, but from other men. To be a top tier man, there's an expectation from other men. Cool. So what are you going to do in the prime of your adult life? You're starting to make good money you wanted to make. We all this, we all that. But what are you doing now as a man? So when you represent yourself to the world, How are men outside of your comfort zone respecting you? And now there's a new look of woman that you're privy to. How are you showing up for those women? Just because I got the money now and all women is shit, they ain't this, and black women to do that. But if I done already been through that on the other level I was on. But if I'm on another level, I'm not looking at those same type of women to waste my time and resources. I'm going to the top tier, and I'll just decipher it through that little batch of whatever, but I'm going for the best pick. But we'll see. That's all I'm saying. We'll see. Because dudes are complaining too much.
Well, all right.
Single, good dudes. Okay. So why are you still looking at Saprita with the big? I don't know. It's a lot of women that are classy with big booties. They just don't show it outside that much. You got to get them in there and get them moist, and twiddle them. You gotta break them down, man. Sisters ain't, it ain't like grandmama now. I mean, sisters are a little rough on the edges. So they didn't grow with a father.
I hear you, man. So,
but
like I said, I don't pity the guys that's out there.
Man, sisters like in shape, smell good, and confidence, and just tell her weave look cute.
Hey, man, I mean, what women are you looking at though, Coach?
I'm talking about.
Every time I see a gaggle of women together, man, they all look like me.
That's YouTube space, man.
I'm just saying. What are you talking about? Where you see all these?
I go outside, man. Every Sunday, man, I go to his park, man.
I didn't ask you that you don't go outside.
I'm seeing women like
in shape, beautiful ass women you talking about.
But they don't. They like. Okay, let me ask you this: when last time you been to Whole Foods? You got a Whole Foods?
Yeah, we go to Whole Foods and I get it delivered to my house. I ain't going to.
Oh, okay. Go up in Whole Foods on a Saturday, right? You see a lot of women who really.
I might have to take that assignment. I'm gonna go to Whole Foods and see how many.
Yeah, this ain't got a couple of.
Last time I was to Whole Foods, there was a lady in a chair, like trying to fit through the door. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? So, I'm gonna go to Whole Foods just so I can go back.
Just check it out. Because they out there.
Well, you out. Listen. If I was in California or something, then I would say, yeah, they got sun all the time, so people tend to be in better shape out there.
Well, yeah.
So anyway,
and
listen, I got to go back and look at all the old videos of when I was in college and the Freakniks when the sisters were all nice, slim, and trim.
Yeah, they was
now they look like the
People used to dance that fat off. Okay,
yeah. That was both men and women. Everybody was in shape.
Yes.
People look. It was the natural body to get rid of that weight back in the day. Now people want to be on the Ozempic and take the shortcuts. Go dance for a little bit, sweat. Like we used to do back in the day. People used to actually dance when we was in the clubs and when
there you go.
That is true.
That is true. Take a good old shower after you left that club because you doing some working out.
No, there's no doubt about that.
You wasn't standing against the wall. You wasn't waiting for somebody to come. You live life and you dance because you wanted to dance. You danced the night away and you went home and you slept peacefully.
And not a lot of women smoked and drank like that. The women wasn't drinking like that when I was a teenager and young adult. They sip on their little wine, but they wasn't blowing blunts every 3 hours and.
Oh, you know what I gotta say? Maybe it was us as Qs, man, because all the chicks around us, man, they were getting down big time.
Maybe y'all bought it out of them, my pain. Maybe y'all bought it out of them.
Y'all the nastiest up
They were living a life, man. What you talking about?
They come over here with y'all and y'all bring it out of them because they know y'all was.
Your cap is better, man. Anyway, so anyhow, but that was a good video. God bless the guy, man. Go home and talk to your wife. That's not Tony Robbins.
Facts.
Yeah, I think that's a new epidemic. People are coming to the internet, and Tony Robbins, he probably have these conferences or whatever. Of course,
is he still making up that big butt? Is he still doing his thing?
Man, he done retired almost. Man, he got special occasions out there.
Yeah, I think these are old videos.
Yeah, he made.
But I think that's the new thing that people try to get their problems fixed by just dumping it on the internet and waiting for somebody to pick it up to to say, "What do I do?"
It don't work.
Precious, a lot of people don't be looking for solutions, right? Because you see people on social media trauma dumping. Soon as you try to say something, you know what I'm saying, to say, hey, they block you. They block you. They like, I want to hear that shit. Let me get that little shit out.
Viral moment, clicks, play, minute time, all of that. So that is the new trend. I don't think anybody really want to invest in themselves and go see a professional. They want to listen to all the,
Just come over here.
Wife for throwing away my late wife's videotape. I'm writing this.
All right, so this guy has an issue with his current wife because she threw away tapes of his ex-wife, and you'll see why.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Why he still got that shit? That's good.
Am I the a-hole for ignoring my wife for throwing away my late wife's videotape? I'm writing this because I don't know what to do. I have a daughter with my late wife, and her name is Eleanor. Her birthday is coming up in 2 weeks, and she's turning 18. Background: me and my late wife, Chloe, have been dating since college. We got older and ended up getting married, and after our wedding, she shared news to me that she was pregnant, and I was excited that we were expecting our first child. Since it was our first child, we brought a video camera and made little tapes and snippets of her whole pregnancy. Wholesome things, such as just joking around or having lunch or talking to her unborn child through the camera. We made a promise to only show Eleanor the tapes at her 18th birthday. Fast forward 2 years after her birth, Chloe passed away due to a drunk driver crashing into her as she was coming home from her mother's house. I was devastated of her passing and went into a deep depression and having to raise our 2-year-old daughter by myself. My friends tried to get me to go out again and start back dating, but every time I felt like I was betraying her. Years later, when Eleanor was 13, I met Wendy. We met at a gathering for my sister's birthday and we instantly hit it off. She didn't mind that I had a daughter because she had 2 kids herself and just went through a divorce. 2 years after, we got married. Now back to the present. Eleanor's 18th birthday is coming up and I kept all the tapes for her to show her. Mind you, her mother died when she was 2, so Eleanor doesn't remember her touch or her voice. I was excited to show her tapes, and a week ago I was talking to Wendy about it and noticed her expression going from happy to looking a bit uncomfortable. Wendy would always get uncomfortable when I talk about my late wife. I don't say things like, why can't you be like Chloe, or Chloe was supposed to be my first love, but I talk about her in a way to give my daughter a mental picture of how her mother was like. Wendy has always talked to me about Chloe and how it made her sad that she can never be like her. Chloe was a model that started working on her fashion career. And don't get me wrong, she was a very beautiful woman, while Wendy had 2 kids in college and not in the best shape due to her words. I love both women how they are, and I've never had a preference, but I feel like Wendy is gaining some jealousy towards Chloe. I told Wendy that I love her just the way she is, and she broke down crying. The day after that incident, she came up to me and apologized for the way she acted last night. I told her that it was okay, and it's good that she felt comfortable to share her feelings, and I gave her a tight hug and a kiss on her forehead. She asked to see where the tapes were at, and I showed her the box of videotapes of my late wife in the closet. Things were going fine until yesterday morning. I was looking for the tapes because I wanted to put them in a prettier box for my daughter. And when I went to go find them, the box wasn't in the closet. I looked everywhere to the point that I went downstairs to see my wife laying on the couch watching TV. I asked her about the box and she told me she threw it away with a neutral expression. I beg your finest pardons? What do you mean you threw it away? What do you mean you threw it away? Hey, yo, bitch, I'm gonna need you to go to the garbage can and get them shits right now, or we gonna have a problem.
So what do you guys think? She threw away the tapes of his late wife / mother of his daughter. The current wife did.
That's a betrayal. That's a betrayal. I'm thinking of, as a married man, I don't know, Coach, you could do this. That's a deep betrayal. I don't know how you get past that. I mean, I can't say, well, I got to go get a divorce, but something is broken now between him and his wife, because she deliberately did it after they had that conversation, and she went up there and said, I'm gonna end this right now for my own personal thing. I'm gonna throw those tapes away. Now I'm seeing this is just a story based on the way he kind of ended it and all that kind of stuff. It's a good story to tell, but I don't know how they repair. I don't know how they repair. I mean, time is supposed to repair things like that, but is it ever really fully repaired?
I mean, what else could she do? Like, do you give someone the opportunity to betray you like that?
But think about the betrayal, the level of betrayal. It's not just to him. She even denied the daughter from getting a chance to see her mother. Now, I would have never made a promise that I'm going to only show it to her at her 18th birthday. I think that was stupid, right? Because long before then, the kid you could have gave her an opportunity to see those tapes many times by the time she's 18, 10, 12, 14, whatever it is. She knew she had a mother who passed away. So
right.
That would have been something to show. So saving it till she was 18, I thought it's kind of ridiculous in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
But if you had a wife who did that to you, I just can't imagine them. Gosh, man, that's like right up there about her giving the box away to somebody else. That's like here's the box. Give her, and
she did give the box away.
This is right there. Exactly. It's a different guy. It's right there.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I might have said if you had an affair, I probably wouldn't feel as bad. Because there's something about those kind of memories that you could never get back.
Yeah, you can't.
That's why when people's houses burn down, they don't care about almost anything but the keepsakes that they lose. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Especially if you have pictures and videos.
Yeah.
Man, that's what you want the most. Like,
yeah,
that's it.
Like I was telling Precious on one of the shows, like my mom, she took pictures of every moment, and it didn't even have to be like a birthday. It could just be like, outside, playing baseball or, whatever. It's about going back and being able, because when you look at pictures, you know exactly where you were, you know exactly what you were doing, you know exactly who you were with, and you could tell the story that way. And now she can't look at those videos, and he can't, tell the stories of, where they were. Those things are important because, now she won't be able to see that, and his wife, she should be ashamed of herself.
Yeah, cruel. That's cruel. This is the cruelty.
Very cruel.
I don't put it on just her on her though. I put it on him too. Our thing touched on it, right? Because these are memories of it's different if it's a girlfriend, but when you know your child's mom is not there, man, I'm trying to feed them pictures and videos as early as she in school.
Right.
This is mama. This is the reason why you were smart, because mama was smart.
Right.
I'm using that as leverage to get my baby to be the best baby they can be.
Yeah, holding it to 18 was dumb. Right? Go ahead.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And it's obvious the woman, again, they don't love the man. The man was a providing dude, and she saw, oh, yeah, this is my chance to get in. And guess what? He ain't going to have no memories of that other B. That's what she said.
She probably been thinking about throwing that way for a long time.
Yes.
Yes.
The garbage day is tomorrow. Let me set that out tonight.
And it's
he
crazy.
Won't even know.
She passed by it was a tragic accident. So in the new wife's mind, it's almost like, well, if that didn't happen, he probably
don't matter.
With her. You know what I mean? Like it's just those thoughts that she has in her mind of why he should reconsider moving forward with her, because now my child has to go through me telling her I had videos, I had photos, I had X, Y, and Z, and now they're gone, and this is why.
Yeah. Can I ask y'all a question?
Go ahead.
Which one would be worse? We've seen women throw away a loved one's ashes.
What did you say? Ashes?
We've seen women throw away. I saw a woman throw a man's mother's ashes away out of the urn, and she just threw it. flashed it out. So which one would be worse? A woman doing that or destroying video footage and pictures?
The videos, no doubt, man.
Okay, the video.
For me, I mean, the ashes. Okay, yeah, boo hoo. I already cried about the ashes.
Okay, all right. She just threw it out on the city street of New York. This fucking shit.
I'm gonna have to respectfully disagree.
Well, that's
you want the ashes. Okay, yeah.
I want the ashes because my mother, like, if I would have cremated my mother, she meant a lot to me. I was like my hero, my parents, and so, I couldn't, like, we would have to get a divorce that day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Precious? Which one would be more important?
Which one? Yeah. It is tough. It's tough for me, man. Forget it, man. The ashes. I was getting ready to throw those damn things out anyway.
Oh my gosh. When somebody do it on their own time, don't tell you they discarded them in a way that you wouldn't have. It's different. When you want to do things on your own time, it's different when somebody takes it upon themselves to do it how they want to do it. But for as far as which one would be worse, they're like, to me,
they're both egregious.
Yeah, because ashes literally is the person's, from what they tell us, the person's body, and then memories and photographs and videos literally give you the embodiment of this person that is no longer here, and you can still see them laugh or smile or whatever the case may be. So I don't know. I think the videos and the pictures, but right after is the ashes. Like, it's right after.
Okay, I got you.
And I could feel a certain type of way about the ashes because I still don't have our mother's ashes, but that's another story for another day. So, but I do have photos and things of that nature. So I don't know. That's a hard one.
Yeah,
it's a tough question because, like you said, the pictures and the videos give you a visual representation of what kind of life that person lived, and you get to see, how the person was, and they say that a lot of our mannerisms come from our parents, and like my sister was saying that I look just like my dad and I talk just like him. So, I only met him once, but if she was around him, but the pictures definitely tell a story that you can't, no one else can tell you but the person that took them.
There's no doubt about it. It's about the picture. I took some pictures of me when I got married and one of me now, and the caption on Facebook is "What happened?"
I saw that. I saw that. I saw that. I saw that today. I saw it today.
God damn it! And I'm looking at myself when I was young. I left so much on the table.
Stop.
So much. I left so. I said, God, I was staring at my picture.
For being a good man, or
I'm talking about before I was married. I'm looking at myself. I said, look at the symmetry to that face. I said, oh my God, man, what happened to you, brother?
I think it was meant for you to be married and off the streets. It wasn't meant for you to be on the streets.
Man.
You'd have been a hot mess.
But I put that up there as a joke, and people didn't laugh the way I thought they would laugh. They would put I wanted them to kind of bust out loud because I was laughing. I should have put like a little laughing emoji on it because it was really funny.
Those inner thoughts didn't run well with everybody else, huh?
No, they were like being nice, Man, look at that, I'm saying, I wanted them to kind of laugh at the photo.
And cut this shit to nine.
I was just saying, what happened to you, brother? I'm blaming this shit on my wife.
Why are you blaming it on his wife? That's crazy.
That's not right. I said that.
You said I'm blaming it on my wife.
All right, guys.
Anyway, what's
for
next?
The main event, Karmelo Anthony has been found guilty.
Okay.
In May 2025, Anthony was 17 at the time of the stabbing. He's now 19. He would be charged with first-degree murder and tried as an adult under Texas state law. A year later, on June 9th, Texas District Court Judge John Roach, who is retiring, a white man read the verdict after all-white jury deliberated for 2 to 3 hours. They found Anthony guilty of first-degree murder, leaving him in tears in the courtroom. Hours later, Anthony was sentenced to 35 years in prison, eligible for parole in 17 and a half years. He was previously facing a sentence ranging from 5 to 99 years of life in prison. I know you guys know what's going on. I'm going to play a video of a man, a staff member at the track field, who said that he saw the video of the altercation. Don't know if you guys have heard this yet or not, but he describes in great detail what's in that video. What's a little conflicting is that a lot of people that say that this video was very grainy. You couldn't tell what was going on. You couldn't tell Anthony from what's the kid's name?
Anybody else? Metcalf?
Austin. You couldn't tell him, like you couldn't tell them apart. You couldn't tell who was doing what, but this man explains everything in detail.
No, it was clear. It was okay. It's clear enough to where you can see the actual individual raindrops come by the camera.
Okay.
That's how clear it is. You actually see them walking up. You see that Karmelo is already up under there. He's under there minding his business.
Dodging the rain, or
yeah, it was still raining. You know,
right.
I'm from Little Rock, so that day we were under a tornado watch.
Right.
And we were under thunderstorm warning, and we know we had already had some light rain then, and it started raining again. Then it was over with for the day.
Okay.
So that's kind of what happened on that day. But they were at a rain delay already, and so during that time when that happened, the twins, their two buddies, and a few other kids, because there was a few kids involved with them, they were all coming from the direction of the middle school, coming walking back up.
Right.
On the video, you can see those four that actually was involved, and maybe about 3 or 4 others that was with them, skipping up, trying to catch up behind. One veered off probably toward his way to go to the coach and kind of distract them a little bit. And then the other 4 came walking together. One went in front of them, went past.
Right.
The other 4 went and they surrounded Karmelo. You know, if you're Karmelo.
And they showed that on that video.
It's on the video.
Okay, come on.
You can see them walk.
I'm gonna
up.
say little
And
stuff.
I'll put it this way.
Okay.
They actually tell you when you're watching the video, pay attention to this corner right here, because if you look anywhere else, you might miss different things.
Okay.
So watch those 4. Here they're 4 right there coming up.
Right.
So 4 people approached Karmelo as he was sitting underneath of that tent. Now that tent belonged to the opposing team, and supposedly I've never run track before, but supposedly in track culture, you know, you have tents. It was raining. They were under tornado watch, as he said, and everybody usually sits underneath of their respective tents. And it seems as though Karmelo Anthony was invited to this tent by someone who was a friend, acquaintance, someone that he had, you know, been in friendship with on more than one occasion, seen with, had memories with. However, it wasn't portrayed that way in the court. The friend actually, you know, tried to say he didn't really know Karmelo like that. However, he was invited. He invited him to underneath of that tent, and it seems as though 4 people were approaching Karmelo to pretty much tell him to get up.
That's exactly what they say.
Okay.
And so you have no way to be confused that it's those 4.
Okay.
So they come up, they surround them, and this immediate moment of not even a few seconds of pause, then that's when they jump. And so
they actually did jump him.
Yeah, it wasn't just no touch. It wasn't just all that moment. Yeah, it was a push. It was all kind of things. But Austin pushed, Hunter hit, and then everybody swung. But at the same time,
so it's more than the twins that got some licks
all
on
4.
them. So it showed that in the video.
Yes, in the video. So again, you got Hunter and Austin.
And I think this is why a lot of people are saying, well, why won't they release the video? You know, why won't they just release that video to the public so that it can be clear and there be no
because they want them to go to jail.
Austin standing in the middle.
Okay.
And you have the light bright boy here and you have the darker boy here.
Okay.
I think that's what I remember. So I have to go back and think about it. But that's where they were. One was going up and down while they were talking and kind of pushing or whatever he was doing. Austin and Hunter was in front. So where they're talking about grabbing bags, Hunter actually said that I grabbed his bag.
Right.
And then later on, he said that Austin threw the bag.
Okay.
Jeff also said the same thing. And so that's them both antagonizing. And we know under Texas law, I just have the fear that you're about to do something to me and you can get up out of here. Yeah, so you don't have to touch me. But at that point, he still stood there and stopped there. And whatever they say alleged was said, you don't know that until they get into it here. But once they did that, they started hitting him. Karmelo actually was able to back out and try to get away. So he was actually trying to get away the first time. Austin grabbed him, and you can see his hoodie coming out like this, and they brought him back in.
Okay.
And when they brought him back in, that's when you can see Austin put him in a headlock. You can see that all the rest of them are still hitting. That must be when the poke happened, because he was able to get out again. He backed out. He looked to the right. That's where the other little kid was filming, because they got some cell phone footage too. But that's where he was filming. He looked directly at him in his camera, and then he went this way to the left. He went down. He fell. And that's when they realized he was gone, because they were still punching. And when he fell, that's when they all turned around. They started chasing him. Austin tried to go chase him too, but he grabbed his chest. I guess he realized that something happened to him. And that's when he went down a little bit and he fell down. But all three of them was chasing. But Karmelo was so fast, he got away and went around to the coach. And so you can see them on the video pointing toward Karmelo and the coach. And I can imagine, because Karmelo's out of the camera on that moment, that he was telling the coach what happened. And then that's when Hunter said he whipped his head around. That's a true statement. He just wasn't sitting with you. He whipped his head around. You see him on the video. And that's when he walked over to where Austin was, but he never touched him. So all that stuff about him rendering aid and holding his heart, he never did that, because the coach grabbed him and he was holding him. So at the end of the day, that's kind of where the moment went. But they did assault him, and we'll just play the game. Even if it was just a push, you still assaulted him, because it was unwanted. By your own definition and your word of him saying that leave me alone and I'm not going, you assaulted him, period. But they did beat him. And if you look at the, not the photo that Fox 4 put out, because that was one that they actually edited. I have the emails to prove it. But the actual Collin County one, you can see.
So there is an edited version of the video. He just said it.
See the webs and stuff on his eye. You can see the bridge of his nose is swollen. You can see the webs under his neck. And so that's the reason why they edited the one from Fox and kind of airbrushed it. And you can see they put the locks of his hair that got taken out as well.
So, he said a lot right there.
Yeah. So in this case, knowing what you guys know, even past this video, I'm not sure if you've seen that video before, but I mean, there's so much that was said. There was, what are you doing in this tent? Karmelo did say that, if you touch me, see what happens. That's something that they used in court as far as him being the aggressor, or why the charge ended up being murder and not manslaughter.
Okay, I'm sorry.
What do you guys think about that? Even the charge itself.
I'm gonna do a video on this on my Monday show, and I think Karmelo was failed on 4 levels. And so I don't believe anything that this guy was just on set, right? Because if he was talking and narrating a video in front of me, that's one thing. I don't care what he said. If the defense attorneys weren't able to get that particular video in court, that has all of this stuff that he said, I'm not so sure what they see. The only thing that matters is what was being shown in court, right? And so, listen, it's a tragic situation, no matter how you couch it. But there was failures on 4 levels. And the first level is just bullshit about it takes a village to raise a kid. That's just bullshit. It takes parents to raise it. And so if it was a village, what, the black culture? You mean the rap culture, the ratchetness that we see on social media and all that kind of stuff? That's going to help raise good kids? It doesn't. We see teens wilding everywhere. The second level.
Well, he has parents. He has.
Well. Let me get to the second level. His parents. I understand. I think they're not together or something like that, and I got to do some more research for it. But listen, the guy. If for anything else, conflict resolution wasn't at the top of their list, right? It's one thing about teenagers. We understand territory. I don't care what kind of teenager you are. If I'm sitting under a tent that doesn't belong to, maybe I lived in a gang culture, but I wasn't. If I lived in a black space territory, I'm not hanging out in an area where the savage nomads reign. If I'm a Crip, I'm not going to be under a Blood's tent. If we know that there's little rivalries now, it may be true, it may not be true that they asked him to leave before the fight started or all this stuff. And he told them, instead of just saying, you know what, it's raining right now, give me a little bit of time until it calms down and I'll leave. That wasn't, they said his first response was make me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if that's true or not, this is the kind of stuff that came out in court. So that means he was automatically confrontational. Now, between two kids, teenagers, right? I don't give a shit how big the other guy was. Around the same age. We're talking about having a fight. Nobody's supposed to end up dead for that.
Right.
You know, and so what I'm trying to say is I don't even give him a problem for having a knife or whatever in his bag. We live in a culture of weapons. Everybody has weapons. The government sanctions let people have guns and people walk around with knives and all that stuff. So it's not far-fetched for a kid, anybody to have a knife or a gun. You know, I mean, not a gun they shouldn't have, but knives and stuff like that. We live in that kind of culture. We've been at war as a country since 2000. We're talking about killing people. That whole thing about dying and death has been desensitized out of us for a long time. So the parents, I don't know what they taught them and all that kind of stuff. And you know what? They already have so many receipts about, you know, teenage boys. I don't know how much influence his father had on. I know he just popped up after this tragedy, but there's some stories that he wasn't around as much in the formative years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so then the third thing was, well, so again, parents, the third one is another level of this. And then, you know, then of course, and I have this written down. I'm just not going to go through the whole thing, but the point really is, I don't think that, his lawyers was the third level. His lawyers was the third level. And I don't, their case wasn't too cool. There's no way Karmelo should have came through that court without taking a stand. You know why? Because if there was a chance that he could convince the jury of how afraid he was, he should have had that opportunity to do that.
Right.
He should have been on that stand. No, I don't care if the prosecution would have came and tried to rip you apart.
Right.
You should have been up there and say, here's what I was afraid of. This is what I was saying. There wasn't one person, it was four people around me hitting me. Now, even that might not have justified why he had to kill somebody. Okay? I mean, still, unless he could convince they were choking him and they're going to stomp him out until he was dead. And so the point really is, I don't know if he really meant to stab the guy in the heart. He probably just swung the thing. And most likely it was a bad thing. He would have hit him in the arm, the leg, anywhere else. He just got him in a kill shot. And the truth of the matter is, if he would have stabbed him anywhere else, he would be in trouble anyway, but it'd be a different kind of trouble. Right?
Yeah.
And then the last one is his level. You know, I mean, why be so confrontational as to attract me?
Right.
It's one of those kind of things. So I'm not saying he should, it's a tragedy all the way around. And then, of course, now here's where black kids have to realize that you got to stay out of trouble, because when you get sentenced for felonies like that, you might as well think you can get maximum. You know why? Because the 13th Amendment actually allows the government to enslave you again. And so there's no incentive for giving you a short sentence. You know, so, 35 years from 18, 20 to 55 is a lot of free labor.
Yes.
And it's legal, and he's a slave. He's now a slave. The same thing that happened in the Firio Ririo case, the rappers who got killed. Everybody's looking at the little light skinned boy who got life. They're going to get like good 60 years out of that guy of free labor. It doesn't matter whether you're handicapped, sick or not. You do the crime, they take away all of your rights for those kind of felonies. And I'm gonna put all that together and kind of refine that, because it's a tragic situation. But if he had anything that going right in his mind, he should have never got into that conversation with those people in the first place, because he was out of his territory. We all kids know that.
Well, he was invited. It wasn't like he just went over there. He was invited.
Yeah, but that guy turned. Well, okay. His lawyer put some of those guys on the stand. All the people the defense lawyer put on the stand turned against him.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that's the case, though? Do you think?
What I'm saying is, if you're a lawyer, you should never ask a question of your own witnesses that you don't already have the answer to.
Right. But
it was just a bad situation. We all knew he was going to go down.
Yeah.
Come on, he was going to go down.
And
it wasn't an all-white jury either. It was just no black people on the jury.
There was actually 3 black women who were
educators. They were all educators,
right? And they excused them from being on the jury.
Yeah, because the women themselves said they couldn't be objective.
Right. That's what they said out of their own mouth.
They out of their own mouths.
They were speaking too much. Black folk, we can't hold water.
But here's what they.
Why would you say that shit?
There was like hundreds of people on the jury pool. They eliminated a whole bunch of white people too, right? And it wasn't an abundance of blacks to begin with. But the ladies on there said, "Hey, I can't be objective." I think there was one brother too somewhere said, "I can't see putting a brother in jail."
But the point that everybody missing to me is that, that's all I know. A lot of people are not really connected to education systems, right? That Monday, after that event happened, not event, but after that situation, you know what they did at that school and probably several other schools? They had an opportunity for those students to go grieve. They had a space where they can go in there and get counseling about their trauma that they just experienced, about and I say that because they're not going to put teenagers through the pressure that they would crazy ass adults. They're not going to do it.
Well, what's the point though?
The point is, you see how it played out. They were very sensitive on how they questioned those youth. Even when they were caught up in their stories, they still didn't pressure them, because they thinking about the fact that most of them will grow up there. They got families there. They're going to do business there. The families know each other, and they're going to empathize with what looks like them the most.
Are you talking about the trial?
I'm talking about the trial in itself. I'm talking about the trial.
Why would that matter to my defense attorney?
But that's what I'm saying. They won't do it, regardless of you, the prosecutor, or the.
No, that's not true at all. Why would that matter for your defense attorney?
But the defense attorney still is not going to pressure the children.
No, that's bullshit.
They won't do it.
That's not true at all. I
disagree. Okay, they were witnesses, but they were witnesses. They wasn't on trial.
I know. That's still you. If you're going to tell me that you got a defense attorney that won't do everything to get you off, then you got bad lawyers.
They got bad lawyers. Yes.
Okay. So if you say that, I agree with you. If that's that mindset, that's a bad lawyer. And you could treat your own witnesses as hostile, by the way.
But again, they are not going to treat them that way.
No. You're wrong.
White people empathize with white people. They don't empathize with Emmett Till.
You know what, man?
They don't.
Come on, man.
You
mean that there's white lawyers that won't go to the depths of trying to get their black client off because
not if you got other little white teenagers on the stand, they're not going to do it.
What? We can land it there. I think that's crap.
They're not going to do it.
That's not true at all.
Okay.
That's not
Go
true.
into these schools and see.
No,
That's the same.
Nothing to do with the schools.
But again, they're school children because they school children.
That's not.
They try to give them less trauma. They don't want to traumatize them.
Shit, man. If I pay the who's day,
they don't. The system ain't gonna traumatize them kids like that.
System.
The system that was holding them on trial. The lawyers, the attorneys.
My lawyer is not the system.
He's not going to pressure. He's not going. They're not going to pressure on the white kids.
You know what? I'm sorry, Coach. We could have a difference of opinion on that.
Yes, we can have it.
Let's just hope that we never get lawyers if we need one that's worrying about what you just said.
I'm trying. If his kids involved,
I want you to skin these guys alive. If they're bleeding after you get finished with them, so be it. Blood coming out of their eyes and ears, everything.
If his kids involved,
they're going back to their predominantly white community. They are going to twist the narrative. Now, he had a knife. He stabbed that boy. So he that much is facts, true. Can't deny it. Can't
And he admitted it.
He admitted it, right? He told the coach,
and he admitted
it. And so it's not like he was trying to run away from what he did. I think reality set in. Maybe the adrenaline was settled by the time he got to the coach and hugged him, and the coach told him, if you stabbed him and he's not living anymore, your life is about to change, because they know who's living at. They know who's around. They know that they're outnumbered there. They gave him an all white jury. Like you guys said, there were people who were excused. There were people who were saying, hey, look, I can't see me sitting on this jury and not being biased towards the situation. And so they were excused. And so at the end of the day, he had an all white jury.
It wasn't an all white jury. They had Hispanics and Asians on the jury.
Oh shit, that's all white, our pain. What are we talking about? They love white people that much, and they'll do anything. Man, come on,
at least we gotta be accurate with what's saying though.
Well, then I have my facts wrong, because I didn't know that there were Asians and Hispanics on the.
There were.
But can we talk about his vetting of the person that he called a friend that invited him to that tent? Like that, for example, if you play football, like you won't go to the other team's bench and sit down with them just because your boy or who you think your boy is. They're not gonna have that. He was not a good judge of character. Like if they only been around each other twice or whatever, and he's like, oh yeah, come on and hang out with us, that's in my mind. They were setting him up to
commit murder.
Him, yeah, to bully him.
I don't know. If you're at a predominantly white school, it's raining, So are we really talking about who's tent? Like there are people who I know are front track that says, we stay in our tent, but we've gone in other people's tents. When it's raining, you're really just trying to get
out of the rain.
There was a tornado warning that guy said in that little video.
Right.
So that's what makes it scary, because most schools in that region, those kids know each other. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. They know each other, right?
Yeah, so if you're in high school sports, you
I can invite you to my match or my game or whatever. They do that. When I went to my son's track meet, they all had their little tents. I'm like, oh, they done got fancy. They got tents. I'm like, we ain't have no damn tent. But the fact that, and there were students that 3-4 tents down coming over talking. The problem with him was, and I can understand in a sense, and I expressed this even this year, when we went away, and I made sure that they gathered their bags together. We're putting our bag. I established that in practice. I want your bags on this side of the line, no bags over here, because I would put my bag first, and everybody else's bag had to go behind that. And I'm always watching those bags. And they used to ask me, why we got our bags over here? So we can watch them. So nobody's stealing. Nobody's doing that. And when you got athletes coming in and out of the tent, You come back and you see a stranger there, you're going to question the stranger. Man, who's this? Arpain said it. That one kid let him down. Hey, man, that's my buddy. I invited him to come. Well, man, he can't be over here. Well, man, let us chop it up a little bit. Hey, man, I'm sorry, man. Look, they say you can't be here. So, look, I'm going to talk to you after this, man, but go wait for me over there. Right. And you do that. But I think it was more.
Could have said, "Can we just wait for the rain to show down a little bit before you?"
Yeah, wait till the rain because they all up under when it's raining. But when the rain goes, you got to go.
You came in, that guy. Now here's where your so-called theory about whiteness comes in, because I assume that friend might have been a white guy.
No, it was a black guy.
It was a black guy. And the black guy turned him down on the stand. That guy was on the stand.
No, the black guy invited him to the meeting.
Yeah, but didn't he go on the stand?
He said
he turned on him. He wasn't that, he wasn't my boy. I didn't really know him that well.
Yeah, he turned on him.
That's my point. That's my point exactly. Like, he think they cool, but then when he got on the stand, it's like, I don't know this dude. What y'all talking about?
His own people got him really convicted more than anything else.
So he not a good judge of character just because somebody dap you up, and you think they cool. Like, you got to do more than that to figure out how a person is.
Or he could have just said, "Hey, you got to leave the tent." He could say, "Okay, yes, man." I'll leave. Or he could have left.
I think that's exactly where.
Don't befriend me if you gonna turn on me.
Went wrong, because if it's not the tent that you're supposed to be under, and they're like, hey dude, like, I don't know how the exchange went. I don't know how high schoolers talk to each other now, but whatever.
For him, you know how they talk to each other though.
Right.
The white boys were bullies anyway.
They were passing back words back and forth, right? But if they are telling you, asking you to move or asking you to get out of there and not being able to just clear the area and there be no hard feelings because there is such an open space, you don't necessarily he didn't have a designated area to be in. It seems like he was like wandering, and then plopped himself there because it was raining. But nonetheless, with them saying, "Hey, we don't want you under here," or "Get from under the tent," whatever the case may be, why come back with the, if you put hands on me or if you touch me, to F around and find out, especially in a predominantly white area where there are not a lot of people who look like you, who can defend you, who can come to your rescue. Why escalate it? And I think that, that is something that they took in consideration, the exchange of words that went back between the two of them, on top of him having the weapon in his bag. Because if they had those exchange of words and he was bluffing and he just had his hands in his bag, but then they just end up fist fighting and someone got a black eye, we wouldn't be in this situation now. But he actually had a weapon in his bag to back up the words that he was,
These kids don't know how to fight these days.
Yeah, but think about this though. That's just what you're saying, right? He had a weapon in his bag. Mm-hmm. If I have malicious intent against you and I see you reaching in your bag, you ain't getting your hand out of there. I'm gonna be on you. And if he had 4 people around him, like this other guy was saying, how did he get time to go into a bag and his first blow be out with a knife wound to a guy's heart? I'm just saying, we hear a whole bunch of stuff. And let me also I can't handle it, but even with the racial thing, you can't, if you're black and everybody else is black around you, if you're sitting in somebody else's area who's not part of your little tribe or block, then they're telling your ass to get out too. And you have a choice to say, I don't care N-words, I'm not leaving. And now you're battling those guys and they could be all black. Or you're going to get up and say, okay, brother, I'm out. So we make it the black and white thing, but teenagers deal with them territorially like that no matter where. I used to play basketball all around the Bronx. Sometimes we had to run before we had to get fights in certain areas just by using a basketball court. You know, so I'm just saying. I mean, we're quick to say, yeah, there's a racial component to everything, but that same scenario is played out every single day in the black community. If you're in a wrong block, old block, you know, and some different, if you don't belong there, if you have blue on and you walk past a red territory. I mean, you know, I'm just saying, you know, and we don't have no consistency in our anger. It's just none. You know, and this guy's gonna go away for a long time. I can't imagine. I'm gonna play this video of what they talk about, what the guy says your life is gonna be like serving the government for the rest of your life.
And then if he do get out early, he got a felony. So, like, a lot of people don't hire felons. So, like,
You can get
you're gonna
past
have a. Well, just let me finish.
that.
Um, he gonna have a tough time finding a job if he don't get like into construction or something like that, because those are the only jobs where they basically.
And robots are gonna be doing it by the time he gets out.
Yeah.
Robots gonna do all that shit by the time he get out.
But they took
even. Go ahead, Coach.
I was just gonna say with this, he has a date.
What do you mean?
He has a date, right? Meaning you take a life, they take a life.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that, again, you take out a young white boy, not even getting a chance to really experience real life outside of high school, and his life is no longer here. And the other guy, they're taking the prime of his life also, because he's going to get out.
Is it because he's a white boy? Or is it because he killed him?
No, just because he killed him.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? But they're going to take a life for a life, and see, people get caught up. A lot of us are these fake Louis Farrakhan's black folk, right? Because there's crime similar to this. Even in Kentucky, just the other day, a white boy shot his white sister. He killed her. He deleted her. You ain't hear nothing about that. Y'all wouldn't hear it if I didn't mention it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just scary that, people are such an emotional wrecks that, listen, I would have been I'm Karmelo. The way I be itching to slap somebody, I would have fought all of them white boys. They would have talked about me all year. Man, you see the way he was handling them? He fought everybody on the team.
But these kids can't fight
they
these
were
days,
bigger
man.
than him. Remember, these twins were a lot bigger.
Precious. He played football too. It doesn't matter size if you play football against football. Football teams fight all the time. So he understands contact. He understands that physicality because he's a defensive back, and his job is to make sure he's tackling.
He's tackling big boys.
Yeah, he's going at them. He's got to run through them. So I just think that his parents failed him. One, you gave him a knife without explaining to him the consequences of yielding that knife. And people seem to forget the school laws. Read the student handbook. It tells you specifically. They're going to go by that first. And then if you do something on a school ground that requires law enforcement, they're going to hand you over to the police on a platter. And in their write-ups, because the school has to do an incident report, said person stabbed said person. Said person hit a kid over the. It was a big deal that's similar to this, but it was two black kids in Chicago, and I'll be quiet. They got into a big brawl at this school, Fanger High School. I don't know if y'all ever heard it. Made a big deal out of it. Kids were fighting. One kid, I don't even know if somebody hit him or what. He just picked up this big old plank of wood and swung it down on the boy's head. Died instantly.
Wow.
Everybody out there that they got on video, including people because, people get under pressure, they start snitching. For the next 4 years, they had problems in school. They stopped even letting certain students enroll in other schools. So the fact that, again, this guy's in this situation, he wasn't informed by his parents. You give him, okay, his son, man, listen, man, just go ahead and fight. You know what I'm saying? Just go ahead and fight. I'd rather you get beat up, come home, then we can deal with it in school. We can go to court, sue him, get $25,000 for assault, whatever, but you live. Then his friend let him down in his face. His friend turned on him in his face like, man, nigga, I don't know you like that. After you invite me.
You know, this is funny. You're right, though, but, you know, I know we want to keep the racial component in there, but they just sent 4 people down in Florida to life in prison, and they were all 20, 21 for killing a pretty much of a rapper who was a killer himself, a black rapper. They sent 4 guys to spend the rest of their life in jail with no possibility of parole. That's the case just happened. What is his name? Fulio, whatever the hell that guy's name is.
Oh,
I heard of him.
Yeah, this guy has bodies on his name too. He got more justice than any black man I ever know. Right, and the case was meticulous. I mean, meticulous. And they let the woman off. She only got like 15 years or something like that. But she was like one of the masterminds. You know, so I'm just saying, you know, they're starting to put people away forever. And everybody forgets about that little extension on the 13th Amendment that says we can enslave you if you, it doesn't say it that way. It says with all of that, you are free from slavery with the exception of committing a crime. It doesn't even say what kind of crime. It just says committing a crime. And once you go to jail, you're theirs. So, you know, I think I think they're trying to wake that thing up.
So why don't you think they woke it up with Chow and Cyrus?
Well, okay, so because he had a great lawyer.
Okay, I was gonna say because he had a weapon on him as well. I don't know.
He had a great lawyer.
Cyrus had a weapon on him because I didn't know that at first. I didn't know that he had
a weapon,
a gun on him. I didn't know it fell out of his pocket.
And he picked it up. And, you know, because you got to see that interview. When you get a chance, Anton Daniels interviewed the lawyer. And he says a lot of great stuff. You could believe him or not believe him. But the way he talked about how he did the case. And a lot of people get misinformation. They say that the guy got shot in the back. Essentially, the way it was set up, he got shot kind of in the back, but he was pointing the gun. Or he picked up the gun, whether he was pointing, look was in the direction of the man's son. So the man was back there, so his back was like this. So he got shot kind of in the back, but it was on the same side of where the gun was pointing at the guy's son. Now, there's so many things to that case. It's not, you can't compare that case to this one.
Right.
We wanted to, and let me also say one more thing. There was no Asians there was no Asian men, no Asians on their jury.
Mm-hmm.
None. And there was 6 blacks on the jury. I think 6 blacks on the jury. I mean, so there we go. I mean, you know, so it's, you know, you can't really compare one to the other, except that Chow had an exceptional lawyer.
Yeah, and I think people interpret the law different too.
Chow had a record of, I want to say, harassing people that came into his store as well. So I don't understand how that is not taken into consideration, but it also has nothing to do with the matter at hand. But if you continue to allow someone who has an issue with the public, that has a public business, you know, be out here and are reckless, because at the end of the day, Cyrus didn't steal anything. He left the store. He ran away from the store. So because the lawyer can then say, you know, well, Chow is now defending his son, when that's not why they chased him out the store.
There's a couple of things, though, Precious. One, and that's why this interview is great. There's no law against chasing somebody. That's one. 2, Here's a key. The young boy, the guy in the store, he actually had no means to buy anything. He didn't have any money on him. He didn't have any credit cards. He didn't have any means to buy something. And so when he was going to try to steal some water, it became stupid because everybody's watching him. And then they asked him to show what he had in his pocket. Couldn't show what he had in his pocket because he had a gun in there. So instead, he ran because he couldn't show him anything, even though he didn't have the water. But because if he would have, he couldn't have emptied his pocket because there was a gun in there. So he runs. And I don't know what kind of 14-year-old he is. If I'm running, nobody's catching me when I'm 14. So I don't even know how he got caught up. He fell like the girls in the goddamn movie. You know, I'm running until you trip over this imaginary log or some shit like that. How do you fall? You know, so he falls, gun falls out. And then, you know, so but the point is, this is what all his lawyer was saying that got released in the trial, right? And it just went to them. And first, child spent 3 years in prison before the child, by the way. It wasn't like he was walking around a free man. He couldn't make money for any kind of bail. So he was in jail for the 3 years until his trial. And so it's just so different than what happened with Karmelo. And it was just so different. And now, listen, again, it's a failure. What are you, if I'm a parent, right? I have 2 daughters and I feel that I've done a great job with them. But when I think back, I think I failed in some areas, right? Because my job took me away from them in a lot of formative years, right? So if my kid shows up in the store with a gun, I failed. My 14-year-old son is walking around with a gun. As a parent, I failed. So his parents failed him. I don't care how he looks. He was getting ready. Maybe he wasn't going to rob at gunpoint, but he was going to steal from this store. And he had no money to buy anything. So does he deserve to die on this? No. No, but I'm telling you, when a person's fighting for their lives, they're going to get the best to try to do it. But
see, back in the day when I stole granola bars from the corner store, I didn't get gunned down. Okay, that man Sonny, he told my foster mom so fast.
That's what I'm saying.
Different time. Okay, we're in such a different time. Right?
But he did have. But the point that got him in trouble is that he did have a gun. And it was out. It was out.
And that I want to point out that to me that's the similarity in both cases. They both had weapons, and that alone.
You talk about Karmelo's. You know Karmelo's weapon that they call a weapon. It could have been one of those.
Like it could, right? Yeah, but it also was enough of a weapon to
do what it did. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So we can't just say, it was just this little bitty old thing. It was.
Do you think he was aiming for the heart? I don't think he
was aiming for the heart. I think that he just was trying to stick this guy. Stop messing with him or get him away from him.
Hit him with a kill shot.
But I don't think that and that's what I think with the Karmelo Anthony case. I don't, I believe that did he kill someone? Yes. Right. Did he intend to kill?
That's why I disagree with the verdict on that thing.
I don't think that he intended to do it. I believe that it should have been a manslaughter case.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, it should have been a verdict of manslaughter and not murder, because at the end of the day,
right,
he didn't go to a track meet to
kill nobody.
He was being approached. He maybe was being bullied. He maybe was being talked to in a certain way, And as all teenagers do, oh, what you gonna do? Oh, F around and find out. You know that
But
you
that's
know
what they use. That's what
you're
they use as a
teams,
premeditation to killing somebody. That word.
But with teams, it's when you're on teams, trash talk is trash talk.
No doubt.
Like,
I agree with you.
that's the nature of the environment that you're in. I don't know about track. I never ran track, so I don't know how you trash
But
talk.
kids are kids, whether it's track or football.
You know, so that is the nature of the environment that you're around.
Guess
Now,
what? In the Chow case, there was no manslaughter. It was either murder or nothing.
right.
There was no secondary. There was no secondary.
I saw someone speak about that, and that was they had to prove malice in that case. But yeah, I don't think that he went to this track meet.
Absolutely not.
Unalive someone. I
No
think
way.
that they got caught up in a situation where, yes, he had a weapon, he used the weapon, and the weapon caused so much damage that now, you know, someone's son is no longer here.
Of course,
You
35 years.
had Austin Metcalf, and then there's a lot of talk about, you know, his family knowing the judge, knowing, you know, those who were in that courtroom. You know, is that true? I don't know for sure. There are pictures circulating that, you know, they commingle. They have been commingling, and so I think the story now, or the question now, is: do you think that his family is going to appeal?
If they can, they probably will.
And if they will succeed in, you know, getting appeal for this.
Yeah, they're going to try to appeal, but I don't think it's going to. They're going to have enough to have anything overturned and get a new trial. Listen, even if the judge knew people, right? Because judges are people too; they know people.
Right.
The judge was not in the jury room. He didn't do anything with the verdict. He just accepted the verdicts. You know what I'm saying? He didn't. I don't know what his. You know, when they give him the last thing to tell you what to look at. You know, if that was biased, but I would bet there's nothing to overturn or point to the judge that he was unfair. I bet. You know, I just think that, you know, the shit happened the way it happened. Here's what I'll give the black community a little bit of credit for so far. A lot of people are mad, but I don't see a lot of things burning down and all that kind of stuff. I know they don't play that in Texas.
Yeah. Look, they say things come in threes. And you know, Chow was the first. Now is Karmelo Anthony. To me, you know, as black people, we're always just waiting for the next thing to happen. Like, I'm just being honest.
Yeah, I know. I hear you.
All right, what's next? What's going to happen next? You know, who else is going to get convicted? Who else is going to get life? Who else's life is going to get taken?
You know what the third one is? They're going to release Diddy from jail. That's probably the third one. He's going to get out soon.
I don't know. I think
Diddy's getting out this year. He's getting out.
You know, he about a half hour away from me in for a day. But yeah, I just think that, you know, this situation of black people getting the harshest punishment is not going to go away. I don't think that that's going to go away. I think that's always going to be a thing because, you know, we were only 3/5 of a human. Like, you know, I don't think that that's something that is ever going to go away. I think that, you know, we are always going to be made examples out of. So I think that black people need to move a little smarter, you know, regulate your emotions a little bit better, because the odds for you are not the same odds that white folks have. It's just not the same. And we're never going to be on the same playing field, no matter how you cut. And a lot of people are like, well, what if it was your child and da 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 da? Well, my child and a white child, like, it's just it'll be two totally different circumstances.
Well,
two different outcomes.
Well, you're right. And well, my thing is, until we start being more reflective as a black, whatever's left of the so-called black community, we're never going to change. We're never going to get past this. Because we're always looking for external things when most of our problems are internal to the black community, right? You know, for every white person who does us a disservice, there's 25 blacks who do. I'm just making that number up, but you know, if you look at death statistics, we are much more you have much more probability of getting hurt by a black perpetrator than anybody else. And that's not a lie. You can just do the numbers, right? And so the point is, we never address that. All out, the only time we see BLM and all these people is when a white person commits an atrocity, and we act like we act like that's not the exception. Every single day, man, black people are destroying other black people. It's just true, and we don't want to talk about it. We don't have panels on panels of looking at that without being able to say, I've been on a Black Man Unfiltered network, and we still talking about slavery. And I'm just saying, I just think that we just not retro. I mean, because I'm old, everything my life is on retrospect already. Right? We're not reflective enough to say if we could correct some of our own problems, if only if we were willing to say and do the things that it takes to correct them.
Yeah. Tariq said, how many dudes are in jail for not walking away in the club for stepping on my shoes when you should have just walked away? And that's that emotional regulation. That's where you could say, okay, the parents failed you. A lot of times, if your parents are not together, who are you with? Are you with mom? Are you with dad? If you're with mom, she's probably overly emotional, and you need to get with the man who can, stick it to you the right way, give you the real, bring you up in an environment that says, hey, look, the world is not going to coddle you. The world is not going to take your outbursts. The world is not going to take you acting like a baby. You gotta have some composure. You gotta have some tact to yourself. And I think a lot of times that emotional regulation is just not there because
So I have a question for you then. I have a question for you. And you were uniquely able to answer this one, or at least you could be. And I'm going to expect you to answer for all women. But at what age should women give their kids to the man if they're not together?
Child, give them to them straight out the womb. Say no.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
That's not true. That's what I'm saying.
No, I think at the age around like 8, 9.
Is that different for the girl or the boy?
Is it different for a girl?
Yeah, it's the age.
Should a mother give a son to her father, right? To his father, right?
Listen, I don't want to just be sexist that way because I think the boy should go to their father. But is it different age or when a girl should go over to the father than if it was a boy? Or is it the same age?
I would say a little different.
Or should the girl just stay with the mother? I don't think that's a great.
No, a girl needs her father as well.
So that's why I'm asking if the age is the same.
Yeah, I would prefer it to be a little different.
I don't know, just to keep it all in the same range. Not why change the age? I think the age probably should just be the same because at the end of the day, women are working with emotions and cyclical routines.
And they pass that on.
Right. Whereas men are not. They're looking at the end goal. They're looking straight. They're looking ahead. They're looking logically. And I'm not saying that you could run your life on just logic alone and that emotion doesn't matter because everyone deals with emotions.
So one more thing before you go any further. And I know you want to speak real, but okay, Prez, this is for the woman. Wouldn't it be better for the lady? Well, okay, let's ask the second question. What would it take for the women decide to listen? I'm gonna keep my husband or my man with me in the household, as long as he's not being domestically violent or any of that. Let's strip that out. He's just a pain in the ass, and I'd rather be free without him here. Isn't it better to have both the parents in there if you could tolerate a little bit loss of the happiness that women crave so bad?
But that's
so is it not worth raising your kids together? Because even if you have to be with the guy who did it and he's not perfect.
But see, I don't think that there is any tolerating. Like that question is men and women are not going to tolerate each other just for the kids, and that's horrible to say.
That's where I'm getting at, and that's the problem.
Right. That I mean, you have people that are like, I'm gonna stay for the kids, right? And then you have people that is like, no, we're gonna co-parent because if
how well is co-parents working out?
Look, co-parenting can work when people are mature enough to make it work.
I know it can work.
The
But
thing is, people don't want to grow the hell up. They don't want to grow up and say, you know what? I'm an adult. I made an adult decision. And now I have adult. I don't want to say consequences, but responsibilities. And I need to put my feelings and my emotions aside to be able to handle my responsibilities, a responsibility that had no say in the matter. I think that's the thing. People can't get out of their own way. They can't get out of their own emotions. They can't get over their own anger. They need professional help. So putting them together in a house is not going to help the child if the two people involved don't know how to get help or don't know how to help themselves. I don't think that that's the solution.
Well, okay. I'm just throwing it out. Okay, maybe obviously it seems like the general consensus is not. I know people say stay together for the kids.
I think that's when you're already married and you want to leave and you just like, you know what? The kids only got about, look, okay, I was raised in the house with mother and father. All right. I heard the threats of I'm leaving and da. Like, no, you know, those
so that only works well on a marriage.
Who are like, I want a different life, or I don't like the life I have, but I'm going to stay for the kids and this and that. Like, that's what that's for. These people who are having kids out of wedlock,
they don't have no intention.
That's why marriage is a container for sex. Because as soon as you go outside of that, you have a whole bunch of issues that you can't fix by yourself, and now that falls down on the children that you have. And now you have a society of unemotionally regulated children because two adults couldn't get it together.
Well, yeah.
Nobody is that. We don't have community anymore where if, you know, again, the neighbor or the corner store, you know, owner saw you getting out of line, that they would drag your behind back to the house and say, this one right here, yeah, unacceptable today. What happened? Like, you know what I mean? We don't have that anymore. We don't have people looking out for the community anymore. You don't have where you can go outside, play freely, and other eyes are on you other than your parents. If other eyes are on you now, somebody plotting on you. Like, you don't feel safe. You don't feel protected in your community.
Yeah, that's true. There's a book coming out called The Vanishing Black Family by a guy named Delano Squires. It should be released on the 16th of this month. And, yeah, I don't know if you'll read it. It might be interesting. I'm going to buy it. It might be an interesting read. And he talks about a lot of this stuff. And a lot of, you know, there's a lot of, there was a 1986 documentary on that. And of course, everything they were saying then is still true today, but it's exacerbated by the fact that, you know, it's more of it. You know, so I did that Monday live on that. I thought it was pretty good. A couple of people came up and talked, but I want to get that book. One of his solutions was what I kind of backwards kind of said. He said, if you're going to have kids, whether you're married or not with somebody, he says you should be married under a covenant marriage or else don't have kids at all. But he said that parents, both men and women, once they decide or once they get into a situation where they have a kid to be born, that they should feel an obligation that's more important than themselves to raise that kid. You know, together.
I agree.
Yeah, that sounds good.
But your and we talk about this all the time when we talk about relationships on values. That value is not just going to kick in because after you hit it raw, now you got a baby. Like, that value is not just going to be
this is true.
We should put the baby above ourselves. No, you wanted a nut. Let's keep it real. And now you got a baby. So
just a man. He's only one too.
When I say you, the you is plural. Okay.
No. I'm with you. But let me ask you this though, Precious. And I don't want to act like we're gonna put your situation. Just generalize it.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is this. I believe that there's people who didn't have any intention to get married. They had a kid and they decided that we're going to give this a shot because we have a kid together. Okay. That's how it probably used to be more often than it is now. Right? Because you know, it's almost the taboo back then. They had the shotgun weddings and all that kind of stuff. And maybe they worked out, maybe they didn't. And sometimes when you like a person and you get pregnant, there's sometimes, you know what, love can build from having a shared experience like a kid, right? Especially if you like each other a little bit, right? Even though you didn't intend to get married. That happened a little bit more in the past than it does now because it's so easy to walk away. And I just think the receipts are in this. Some people co-parent well, but it really doesn't work. Not in the grand scheme of things, because we have all kinds of receipts that says it doesn't work the way it should. Because I think that being a good parent together, and it's not everything, because you don't catch everything, right? It's that a lot of parenting is through serendipity, by being in the right place at the right time. Hearing, seeing what your kids are doing in real time. And if you're not together, what you might miss as a woman or I might miss as a man, if we're together, we might be more likely to catch those things that we could correct because one of us, we're both watching.
Yeah, but I mean,
and it's not even that's not perfect, by the way.
I was gonna say people work, people like you know, you're still not gonna catch everything.
So it's all probabilities and chances, though. The chances go up.
Yeah, definitely. You're right. The chances definitely do go up for you to catch more.
Yeah.
When you're with someone.
Yeah.
But again, in this society where both people have to work, the daycare catching it. Okay, let's really be real. The daycare and school are catching a lot of moments that two people who are who do live in the same home, who are married,
right,
want to catch. You know,
I'm too old. You know, because I always remember both my aunts and uncles working. I think that this notion that both parents didn't have to work is as an issue. That's some new internet stuff.
That's some new internet
always
stuff.
Had to work, and they made parenting. You know, they made it
shit look good. Yeah, they made it look good.
You know, and so I'm saying is that both parents do have to work. But listen, even back in my day, in the 60s and 70s, only a small percentage of men were able to carry a family on one salary. It was less than 25%.
Facts.
It wasn't like 90% of men were walking around and having housewives. It just wasn't true.
Facts.
You know, and so I'm just saying somehow today we got this thing twisted, like both parents work. I mean, here's where the failure is. Here's where the failure is. Men have to understand that the way women work today, there's no way that you can't be. You got to be somewhat domesticated as a man too.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. You know, but that's where that, because your woman's coming home kind of tired, just like you are. They might need some decompression just like you do, like we used to come. So that's where men have to understand that there's no inside the house. If the kids are at a certain age, the woman's going to have the lion's share with the kids, especially still breastfeeding and shit like that. But in terms of cleaning the house, maybe cooking a meal, doing all that kind of stuff, that's got to be, a shared responsibility.
Yes.
You know, and that's where men have to understand. You want a woman and you want her to be somewhat traditional. You got to understand your tradition has to be expanded to say she just because she's a woman that she got to do all this shit. And and I had that mindset back in the 80s. This shit, that's the way I thought. I didn't put all that shit on my wife.
But here's the problem. Precious, listen, our pain is correct. From the time I can remember, both my parents worked. My mother worked at GE. My father worked for Louisville Slugger. When I came to understanding, they both worked. Now, when my mother was working during the day, my big sister was the head honcho of the house.
Mm.
And as we grew older, what I saw then that I don't see us modern ass lazy parents do, we don't put our children on task.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. Yeah.
My youngest sister, well, she's a twin. My mother had two sets of twins back to back.
Wow.
They're 2 years younger than me, 2.5. Once they reached age, my parents never cleaned, washed a dish, wash clothes. And my mother's big thing for us was, I'm going to cook on Sundays. She let us know on Friday, I ain't cooking a sandwich. Don't ask me nothing. And she would make her big meal.
That's what my mom and dad used to call it. Go for what you know nights.
But again, as we evolved, we say we don't want to do some of the traditional things our parents did, but we also make our kids lazier.
I have a
You
aunt.
gotta make your kids clean up.
You're right about it. Okay, I had me and my aunt had a standing. I had to kind of get with my aunt a little bit because she yelling at me to do things. I said, you got 3 children.
Right. See what
Every
I'm saying?
time I come over here, you working me to death. But you got 3 children. Okay.
We wouldn't even work our children?
No.
Crazy.
Okay. All right. They live in that neighborhood, and and it's almost like put them kids to work.
It's true. You like Cinderella.
Children.
Were y'all in similar ages?
Who?
Like you and your cousins and her kids.
No, they younger than me. It's almost about 10, 11.
They were old enough to do work.
Yeah, they were old enough to work.
Get out there, get them chairs and tables, and get this party, because this your house. I'm a guest at your house.
That was true. You like Cinderella.
My daughter used to help me.
So you're right. There are some parents who want to spoil their kids and give them everything, but then they want to work everybody around them or expect the adults to do the work. And I grew up in a household like that too. My dad didn't lift a finger. Okay,
not at all. I ain't never seen my father clean
my brother
nothing.
and my mom. We hung the pictures. We did the yard work. We did the dishes. We did the laundry. We did all of those things. And so working has always been in our repertoire of family. There is no you're spoiled. There is no you can have whatever you want. No, you got to work. That's why I said at the beginning of this live, you don't work, you don't eat. That's how I grew up. The only person that and even my dad worked. He worked for us to be able to have everything that we needed. And so, nowadays I don't understand why parents don't give their children tasks. I don't understand why they not washing dishes, folding clothes, cleaning. Like I don't understand that, and I never will.
Well, because we don't have enough. Well, first of all, I mean, our parents' situation is pretty bad, right? Where there's 2 parents in a household with kids. We're down to like 25%. So that's not great statistics. But it's true. I mean, a lot of the stuff that we talk about like it's new today is not new. Like my daughter's, my youngest, she used to help me cut the lawn. We cut the lawn together, right? She had her task, I had my task. She was out there. I wasn't going to be out there sweating by myself. She was out there doing the things that I made extras, like washing my car. When I wanted a little allowance, I said, you wash my car, I'll give you some money for that. So that's what she did. Like when her older sister's 7 years older, I said, listen, if me and your mom wants to hang out, I'm not paying for you to babysit your sister. You just want to watch my kids. You'll be done. But for other things, I would give her a couple of dollars for. So, but as far as washing their own clothes and cleaning their own room and all of that kind of stuff, and making their own bed, that's all on them, after they got age enough. I don't see why parents didn't think that's the way it is. And I think that's part of the modern day problem we have.
Yeah.
With men and women, this whole bullshit that we talk to each other on social media. If you want a wife and a man wants a wife and a woman wants a husband, if you actually want those things, it's just a conversation away. If it's a courtship away, and you just got to get it straight. Listen, none of us are the roles in the house. The only role in the house, and this is my own man thing, is that the absolute leadership of the home has to be the man. And not because he's the woman is lesser. I said there's instances where me and my wife can both be right about something. And we need to get something done. I have my way to do it. Sometimes the women not only want the man to do it, but they want to tell him how to do it. And then we get into an argument that I'm doing it this way and not the way you want me to. That's where shit breaks down. And the man has to say, listen, if I'm responsible for getting something done, I need the authority over how to do it. And this is where I want you to sit your ass down. And if I fail, then we can revisit that and I'll have to fix it. But you need to sit your ass down. And for some men, you need a woman to understand that sometimes we can't debate everything. We just can't debate everything, So, and I don't think we can get there today and it doesn't matter if you have a PhD in your own job. In this house, I'm not your employee. You could have a group of 100 people working for you as a woman, but when you come in the house, I'm not one of your employees. So kind of put that shit to bed. I don't care if you're a police chief or a mayor or none of that. So and that's not easy. And that's not easy. So I grant that.
No.
It's not. So there you have it. So I solved world hunger, but everybody's still starving. So anyway. So that the trial of the Carmelo Anthony trial is bad, but I think we're going to be surprised on how it's just going to fade into the woodworks. You're going to have some loud mouths and stuff, but I think essentially when it's all said and done, when it's all said and done, people are going to be hard pressed to say, that the guilty verdict is something that is a surprise.
I don't think that it's I don't think that the guilty
he doesn't the fact that he was found
he is guilty. He's guilty of killing someone. That is plain and clear. I think it's the verdict of or the charge of.
I agree with that. I don't think it should have been first degree.
I think that's the biggest thing for me.
I agree with that.
I'm not going to say because he's black, he should have, he shouldn't have got convicted and things of that nature. I also come from a home, you do the crime, you do the time.
Right. But you're right. I don't think it's first degree murder.
There is no, you're black and you're my son. And no, you do the crime, you pay the time.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all. That's what we need to be teaching our children. Don't go outside these doors acting like you are the best thing that God put on this earth and you're untouchable.
Yeah.
Because that's a lie. That's not reality. The reality is you need to mind your manners. The reality is you need to, act like you have some sense, like you were raised right. The reality is you don't have the same privileges afforded to you in public like other people do. That's just because Johnny did it don't mean that you could do it.
Absolutely.
That's just point blank period. It has been that way since the beginning of the time. It will always be that way. And so we as parents to children have to be able to prepare them for this world and not just have them, scrolling on social media thinking that this is something that's worlds away, because this can happen on your block too.
Absolutely.
This can happen at your track field too. This can happen when you tell me on Friday you're gonna go watch, so-and-so run or so-and-so play. These things can happen every day in any neighborhood on any block. No one is exempt from it.
No, you're right. Hey, so Precious, you gotta help me with something. I still need some more weaning with my youngest daughter moving out, and I walk past her bedroom, open the doors ajar, and there's nothing in there but the bed that she used to sleep in, and I can't even bring myself to go in the room. And I said, I'm simple. I said, God, at least, and what's my problem is when she was here, right? She was one of those kind of loners, anyway. And she's been that way like a little girl. I feel like I didn't knock on her door and walk in and intrude on her space enough.
Oh,
she said, now
that she's gone, you miss her.
Yeah, I said, shit. I should have intruded on her a whole lot more, because now I don't.
Now you don't know what's going on with her.
Well, yeah, she don't forget about her calling me. She only called me when she wants to call. That's it. I said, golly, man, I thought you missed your dad. I mean, don't you want to say something? No, we keep that, huh?
So I think sometimes parents forget that y'all were our age as well at some point in time.
No, I do. That's the only thing that saves me.
And there were times where you went off and you did your thing, and your parents or your aunts, I know you were raised with like aunts and things of that nature. There were times I didn't hear from you. There were times I didn't see you because you were becoming. You know how much.
Let me say, my aunt did ask one day. She didn't give a shit when I called or not. You know, just I see you when I see you.
Exactly. So that's why it's important. We talked about this before in the men's panel, probably years ago at this point, because we've been doing this for a while. But that's why it's important to have those daddy-daughter dates and those family meetings and the time where you actually do facilitate that togetherness, because when they out. When they got plans, they got plans.
We were just together on our birthdays. You know, we had a nice time out and all that. And
that's why those times have to be cherished. But you know, it makes parents think, especially when you become empty nesters, totally empty nesters, right? It makes you think like, what could I have done better? Could we have had these conversations? Could we have done this? Could we have done that?
Yes.
And when they say that the time goes by fast, you know, there were 7 years in between your oldest and your youngest. So you had a span of time where it was just like, y'all still had a kid in the house. Like y'all was still going through the thick of it, even though the oldest was older,
doing her thing,
working.
When she was in college, you still had that in high school.
I don't know. Or maybe you need to get her picture and put it on the dresser in the room or something.
I do have pictures. I got pictures. Hey, listen, I called her today. You know, she was at work, and I was just happy she answered the phone. You know, shit. You know, so we're gonna talk. We talk. First of all, it's not like we don't talk. You know, I mean, you know, we talk business and we got some stuff in common. So we talk some business and we talk those kind of things. But I'm just saying, I'm just like, I say, golly, I tell her, I said, listen, I'm not trying to intrude. I'm still going through my weaning process. You know what I'm saying? She just chuckles and shit. You know,
I wonder if my parents miss me and my brother being in the house.
My wife, man, my wife is like a rock. I look at her and say, don't you miss the kids? They're grown up, man. But I said, God, you're a regular rock, man. God damn.
No, you know what I'm saying? Reality.
So what, man? I'm having trouble. I'm having trouble with the reality, especially my young daughter, man. You know, it's not that she's that young. She's 27 now.
She's almost 30.
Good, I know.
Oh my gosh.
I know, but she was here until just like 3 months ago.
You know? But it's good that you feel that way towards
man.
Because at the end of the day, they always going to be your babies, right? She's almost 30. You're older.
And my older one is up there, you know. So
you know, so at least you still look at them and say, I miss y'all. Like, you know, come around.
Actually, you know me, I want them to be married, but you know, they live in this time frame.
Yeah.
They live in this time frame.
You know, especially on YouTube, you know, people want to blame the single people for being single, but you know, at the end of the day,
they gotta have somebody to be married to.
And yes, times change, and they're just not the way that they used to be. And so, you know, you have to pick wisely amongst what is
going on. You gotta be in the area to find them.
Yeah,
you know, so that's the point. You know, and I don't know all this. I mean, whatever is going to happen with them is going to happen with them. They're adults, you know. So my church just got a new pastor, right? And so he's like 32 and he's not married. I said, shit. I told my wife, I said, well, you know, shit, you got a daughter over here. She said the first thing they said was, don't be trying to get him married to one of your kids. I said, that's the worst thing I ever heard anybody tell you.
Right.
So, why shouldn't your kid want to marry somebody who's the pastor or somebody who's free, simple, no children, and he got a future? And we're going to tell people that he's the one who's off limits. Why?
People are selfish and they want the pastor to themselves. And
I told my wife that. I said, what are you talking about? I said, we want our kid to marry some damn lug nug kind of asshole from the street other than the pastor of the church? What are you talking about?
It's funny you said that. I'm going to give y'all a story about my life. So in high school, I actually dated a pastor's son, right?
Okay.
And ironically, now my dad is a deacon at his father's church.
Okay.
Right. But when we were in high school, we were in marching band together. So we spent a lot of time together. We, you know, did competitions. We were always on the road and things of that nature. But I just thought how funny it was, like when we dated in high school, we went to prom together, how my parents were always, I didn't go on my senior trip. One day the sports advisor would come and be like, oh, your parents said you could go. Then it's like, oh, no, you can't go. And oh, you could go. Oh, no, you can't go. That was an emotional seesaw my senior year. But when we dated, it was just like, it was like they accepted that we dated, but it was almost like they didn't want us together. And I'll never forget, he went off to college. He went to Princeton, smart guy. Again, dad is a pastor. It's almost like if I could have chose anybody, I would think that this would be the guy, like, right? Like the right guy. And I remember I had invited him to church. Jesus, can't do nothing. Invited him to church. My dad's like, well, church is not a meeting place. And da-da-da-da. That's what I thought church was. You know, we all meet at the church, but whatever. Long story short, he ended up going his way to college. I ended up going my way because my parents were really strict too, because I couldn't really do anything. But I'll never forget, he wrote a letter saying how my parents were the reason why we're not together.
Oh man, that's terrible.
I agree with him, because at the end of the day, if you're going to want your children, especially if you grew up in a church, right? Especially those folks who grew up in the church know what I'm talking about. If you grew up in the church, and they always say, well, the pastor's kids be the worst kids, but I'm not going to say his name, but there was nothing bad about him. You know what I mean? He was a drum major in the marching band. We were in marching band together, top of the class in grades and things of that nature. And I'm like, yo, y'all really cock blocked. Like, but now you want to be the deacon at his dad's church?
No, but you know what? It's a mindset. I think when I talked to my wife, I was kind of half joking, but her reaction told me that her head was, I said, listen, I mean, I'm not like 100% serious because there's no connection. She said, my daughter knows the pastor. They're around, my daughter's a little bit older than me, like a year or so. So they did something together. I said, wait a minute, they know each other. I said, well, if she's single, she don't have no kids. He's single, they don't have no kids. What's a better match? What are you talking about? Now, not that it would happen, because he would have to be interested in her and she would have to be interested in him. But I said, if we ain't trying to pair our kids with somebody who's going forward like that, then what do we do? Who you
want to play with, right?
I said, what are you talking about? She said, well, they were saying that I said that there's some deacon, some guy who telling them, hey, don't now this young guy, don't be trying to endear him to your kids. I said that guy's an idiot. If he said that, he's an idiot. She got mad at me.
And that's how the church. So that's how the church keep young kids single. And I'm just going to be honest and put it out there, world. You can hear me. I don't care. That's how church keeps young people single. And now that we in 2026, church want to have this culture of, oh, let's get the singles together and da-da-da-da. Y'all forget when we was kids, y'all wanted to keep everybody apart. If we touched each other, we was going to get pregnant. If we looked at each other, we was going to get pregnant. Those are the fears that's a whole nother show. Those are another show that they that they instill in you with your kids. But then when you older and you single and they want you to be married and then successful relationships, now it's like, oh, well, why aren't you married? I was a viable candidate back when I was a senior in high school, and now look
this guy talks about this in this book that's coming out, The Vanishing Black Family.
That's true.
He goes through that. He got a whole chapter on that kind of stuff. That's why I want to read it, because I know some of that stuff. And it's so funny that I did that show on Black Man Unfiltered Network, and I didn't know this book was coming out. But so when I said that title, then I looked that up. And then all of a sudden, this guy showed up with a couple of interviews and all that kind of stuff. Oh man, this would be good, So anyway, but I want to get it.
I still got all his love notes and everything.
Is that right?
Sonnets and everything that he used to write me. I did a autobiography.
Man, love notes.
A major part because
is he married now?
Sweetheart, he's married, 2 kids.
Oh man, it's funny. You know what? I did find back in the day, I had this chick that I was dealing with, and I saved a lot of postcards and pictures and stuff. And my wife seen them, but I don't even know where they are now. It was a postcard. This lady, we were in college together, and she sent to me, and she was real fair skinned. She was a red bone, a real true one, right? She writes to me and she says, and in there she says, listen, I would like you, but you're a little too dark for me, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but she was sweet, but we had a good time. And so I found out where she was. I took a copy of the postcard. I took a picture of it and sent it to her. She says, oh my God, I can't believe I sent all of this to you. And we just laughed about it. It was like 20 years later.
I'll never forget. We went to my brother's room at our house, our home, our childhood home, and he had a full drawer of letters that girls used to write him. And back in the day, we used to. Child, I don't even know if I could do it today. I couldn't. I'm just, but we used to fold the letters up. It used to be like a perfect square. It used to like fold
I know what you're talking
underneath, and oh my gosh! But he
look
had
at Coach perked up. He does it.
My brother was very popular in school. He was a football star. There's still at the high school, people can't beat his records. So he was very popular. And again, we grew up in a very strict household. So, people would invite him out, go to this party, do this. And, we had to deal with no, you're not going. No, you can't go here. No, you can't go there. No, so, but the girls loved him. The girls loved my brother. Okay. And they were scared of me for some reason. I didn't know this till after we graduated high school, out of college, and they be like, "We used to be scared of your sister for what? What I do?
What your brother was telling them."
That's right. That's right.
What did I do? What did I? My brother probably was like, "Yeah, my sister don't play. Don't even try."
Yeah, he set the stage for you outside. I had 5 sisters, so when I used to go out,
I can't imagine having 5 sisters.
I had 2 older and 3 younger, and I played sports. So people, I was like your brother.
We was just though you was spoiled like hell, man.
I was the middle child. Listen, I was the middle child. I didn't give my parents trouble. I did whatever I was. Listen, and y'all have to talk to my family because they give me some crazy stories when I was like early teens, right? My sisters tell me I used to iron my underwear. They used to tell me I was very very detailed, and I used to put my clothes in my closet on a hanger with two fingers apart.
Is this before the military?
Yes, all this is before the military.
Oh, wow.
It's had to have everything turned the same way. I was a guy that used to go outside. We had a fence and weeds used to grow up. I used to just pick the weeds off. My mother used to be like, "Boy, something wrong with you. You act like
where are you originally from?
I grew up in Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay, down south.
Yeah, I grew up. And listen, man, I was a helpful guy. A lady used to get me. I feel
like I need to move down south. I don't feel like ain't nothing up here in the north. I feel like I need to move down south.
It's there, but in the north, it's moving fast.
Exactly.
It's moving fast. In the south, it's a little more spread out, a little more. The suburbs are the suburbs. You ain't got to go 4 or 5 hours.
Move, man. I'm telling I'm just too rooted because I'm here in New Jersey. The money that's sustaining me right now, in terms of my retirement, I'd probably be living like a king.
You'd be living large. Yes.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man.
I'm thinking maybe Texas, North Carolina.
Listen, I'll recommend people if people move and they want to have. Get you a place with a basement.
Oh yeah, I grew up in a townhome.
We got basements here in New Jersey. That's
we have basements.
Walkout basements. I'm in a walkout. I love my walkout.
Oh, you got one of those. That's nice.
Yeah, I love a walkout, man. It's nothing better. I grew up with a walkout basement when I was younger. The old pain that you lift up the lid.
Oh, yeah.
But we used it like all the time, especially I was young, in and out. So as I got older and I got married, I was like, man, we can't get a house. She was like, I don't know. I said, we get a basement, we're gonna be a walkout. Well, walkout now every day. Oh, you want to go sit outside? You want to do this? So yeah, I just recommend it because I don't like people going through my house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You come to the basement, you chill out. I got my TV. That's why I be watching the games. Yeah. We got, I got my little workout area. So I like that. Then the house is just for me, my wife, my little personal space, for entertaining. Come on. Because your cousins are silly. They like to, got some new cologne. They want to be all in your shit. Take your ass downstairs. That's just me. Because I'm very picky. My wife, listen, if y'all saw my dresser drawers compared to hers, I'm folding clothes. I tie my sock. Everything has its own space.
Well,
Everything is turned. My wife, it's a pile of shit in the drawer. She's like, you gotta help me get my drawer together. I said, hey, you got too much stuff.
You and your own baby.
Yeah, but I help her. It's just that I'll get it together. Then, Precious, you know how y'all get to trying to get somewhere fast, and you ain't got time to be separating. You got to just throw it out the way.
It was right after that.
And then you take a designated time where you get everything together because you know you done been rushing, you done been throwing everything all over the place, and now you got to take the time to coordinate and ordinate, have everything back to normal. But that takes about a week or two because you still going through the motions of the week. Things are happening.
I'm lazy, man. I couldn't do what Coach did, man. I got a closet. Half the shit I probably need to throw out. And
got OCD, man.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, my clothes, I wash them. I said, well, shit, as long as they clean, I don't care if they're folded. If I need to iron something, I iron it as I go.
Yeah, I
iron as I go.
Died, fried, laid to the side. Ironing. People don't iron anymore. I used to have to iron my dad's clothes for work.
Yeah, I iron my clothes. I iron my own clothes. I don't ask my wife to do it.
Yeah, I don't ask my wife.
Yeah, I don't mind ironing.
I used to be like, all right.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I think I have. First of all, I have too many irons in my house.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
everybody had their own. He got girls. They got their own.
As far as I'm concerned, I don't know why I have. It's just crazy. I think more than having 4 or 5 irons is enough.
I bet you got 4 or 5. You got 4 or 5 irons in your house.
Yeah. I mean, because you collect.
My iron has lasted me. I may have to actually buy another one, but my iron has lasted me for a good 14 years. No lie.
Yeah, they last. I mean,
I got nice heavy duty. I don't even want. I'm almost like I don't want to get another iron, but it got the stuff on the bottom. Maybe I can clean it off. Maybe I can get.
Yeah, you got to clean it with take salt and lay it on a sheet of newspaper or something, parchment paper, and just go over and steam it. Hit it with the steam.
I love that iron. I've had that iron. Oh my gosh! I think. After I was done with college and got my own place, I got that. I've had that iron ever since. My mom always told me invest in a good iron. Always.
Is it the one with the little blue tab, the old school? It was metal. It was black and had silver. Like
yes, it's a red and silver iron. It's
heavy. That's old school. That's old school. Yeah, that's old school.
But one of those ones that the auto turn off if you forget. You have it plugged in, it'll turn off or whatever. But it's a good iron. I just don't know. I like the creases. I like with the jeans. I like that. But
yeah, got to have a crease.
Well, anyway, so was that the last video?
That was it. Yeah, we're gonna get up out of here. It was good chopping it up with you guys.
Yeah, this is a good show. I mean, it was fun. I was glad. I was saying that she's not canceling tonight, is she?
Oh no.
No. Hey, I did my show tonight, my sports show. I was like, I had the president when he fell asleep at the game. I couldn't stop laughing. I said, "Well, listen, if I'm 80 years old and the world is shoulders on I should be able to fall asleep where I need to." If that probably was the first time he was sitting
It's
around.
3-1. I pain. It's 3-1 now.
It's 3-1. The Knicks came back to win.
Yes.
Get out of here.
The largest comeback win in NBA history.
What? I had it right here. I'm talking to you guys, distracted me and shit. Oh, man. So there you go. It takes a woman to get me from talking about sport. I'm gonna blame this on.
I always forget. I'm like, oh man, I think the game is
going say nothing.
Man, I tried to, man, but I don't know.
There's a big comeback. It was like 90 to. It was like up like 15 points.
I saw it down all the way down to the last 30 seconds. I was like,
yeah, you're watching it too, goddamn. I had the channel on, but I stopped watching.
I wasn't watching the game itself. I was just
Precious stuff. Yeah, you was watching. It's over. It's over. It's over.
Hey,
you know more details than me.
I played basketball in I mean, all the way from the 4th grade all the way up to the college level.
Oh,
but I don't watch basketball on TV. It's the crazy. And my brother's the same way almost with football. Like he'll watch football.
We gotta get you in the WNBA.
I don't now football I'll watch. The football season. I'm getting my wings, my cheesesteak, something.
Before we go, can I see one thing, right? Since you play basketball, let me see your shooting form.
Oh, I'm a lefty.
You left it. Okay, we good then. I got you. We together.
I
see you.
I still got my shot. All right, I might get a little winded, but
we ain't got no endurance, but we can go to our spot. I see you, Precious, over with the left hand. Okay.
Yes, I'm a lefty. Okay. A lot of people don't know that about me, but y'all do.
There you go. That's
no wonder you smart. Okay, I get it.
That's why she's smart, because you left hand.
Yeah, man, we think on the right side of our brain. The right hand y'all just figure that shit out as y'all go. Unless you go to Catholic school, then you get it early.
Oh.
The Black and Decker old school. I think, is it a Black and Decker? It might be. No, is it a Black and Decker? I don't know.
Yeah, it might be a Black and Decker.
Is that right? Oh man.
But yeah, like I'm gonna have to clean it, because buying another one don't.
Yeah, but you could definitely get that stuff off the bottom of it.
And that wasn't even me. That was my daughter. I'm like, what you do to my hair?
Just make sure you start pouring the water out when you're not using it. Just pour the water out.
Yeah. But tonight was a good show, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Like I said, next week, if you are free on a Tuesday at 9, I will have a panel for the Adoptee Foster Show. We talked about all things adoption, foster care, adoptive parents, and adoptees. So definitely tune in. But we'll be back next weekend. It ain't no holiday or nothing, right? Let me make sure. Next week, Wednesday is the 17th. And the 16th is when we will do the panel.
I may not be on next week. Next Wednesday. Yeah, I might be traveling on the road, so I may not know.
Okay, well, safe
travel. Or maybe on my phone. Yeah.
You'll be missed. But yeah, we'll be back. And of course, I always drop the link. I don't know if it pinned the link to the chat. I see it down here in my chat on the on the unpinned message. So I guess it is pinned to the chat. But I always drop the link for anyone who likes to join. But tonight, I think we were just so engulfed in conversation that I dropped it for Coach Ferg because I saw your comment. But just know anyone can join the channel. I mean, join the chat. As long as you're respectful. Disrespectful, you're getting kicked out. That's my only rule. But tonight has been great, guys. Y'all know what I say. Be real with yourselves so you can be real with everybody else. We'll catch y'all next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.